Central America West is what we're going to be looking at today and this weekend. My name is Ultra David, and I'm going to be here with my good bud Vicious, calling the action for you. What's going on, man?
You know, it's pretty hot in Southern California, but I feel like it only gets hotter down in Central America West.
Sure.
I can only imagine. I feel like the only thing hotter is what's going to be happening in the top 16, right? We were going through it right before we went live, looking at that entire bracket, and boy, oh boy. Again, in the pre-show, Brian F. and Rob TV had mentioned two of the top competitors that made it into the finale of this year, or technically last year. They are currently sitting in the winner's side, opposite ends of each other, so we're going to see if they even face off against each other this weekend.
That's right, that's right. Now, in Central America West, Mexico tends to do pretty well. That is how it is yet again. They have 14 of the top 16. Panama's in there, though.
2 players representing Panama, to be exact.
That's correct. That's correct. We're also expecting a lot of different characters, including some that you don't tend to see terribly often on CPT streams, which is going to be fun to watch.
Abigail and Alex, to be specifically.
Those are winner's side as well.
That's the craziest part. We were talking about it. I'm like, when was the last time you've seen an Abigail in the top 16? Or I would say top 8, let alone top 16, right? But overall, the diversity is pretty much up there. Every single character that you haven't really seen shown off in the spotlight, you might just get it here today.
Yeah, it's a strong region. There are lots of strong players throughout Central America, of course. We've seen them throughout the years. The guys who were highlighted, of course, are people to watch. But there's a whole list in this top 16 of players that we're going to be getting a chance to watch. We got a whole bracket, in fact, comprised of all the players who are going to be in there.
Right, and in the region, we had 78 players join in, and it's down into the top 16 with Kusanagi versus MX Gus. That is going to be the one to start things off. Pretty exciting. Todokai as well as Orangu. Orangu, we haven't seen too much. He finally broke that threshold of making it into the top 16. Fell a little short in previous years. Todokai, we've seen time and time again. MJ Gama, again, a name that you guys are pretty familiar with at this point. The Kami player to watch going up against Chontekas. And down below, Hagen versus Rasek. Now, 2 of these players I haven't seen as much personally, but they have been making noise in previous iterations of the Capcom Pro Tour.
So some of the characters to watch, who we're expecting anyway, could show up. Sakura, Kage, Colleen, Urian, Cody, Alex, Cammy, Abigail, Lucia, Dictator. I'm not lying. There's a pretty good list of characters we got here. And then down on the loser's side, we have a whole new list of folks. We got Lost Maximoff. We have Soul VNG. We have Fulgor, MK2. FRT Uriel Velorio. We have Jano87. We got Timbers Choco, RH Vicaron, and then Raptor 5 Hasdero. So in that list, we're expecting Rashid, Seth, Luke, Akuma, Ken, Cody, Lucia, Sagat, Nakali, Luke, Urian, Akira. Now, obviously, some of those players told us that they could use more than one character, because that's more than 8 people. But nevertheless, that's a pretty long list of potential characters who we could see.
And I'm looking at the entirety of the top 16. I don't see too many repeats other than Luke. And even so, there's only 2 players that have maybe like a pocket Luke. Because Vicaron, I'll know him as the Urian player through and through, right? I'm going to say that Luke, although he listed it as his main currently, I still think that might be the pocket character. Just by default, considering the amount of time put in for both characters.
Sure, yeah. I mean, look, he's a good character, clearly. But I don't know if you had a chance to see Evo. Did you have a chance to see Evo?
I might have had some time over that particular weekend. I'm still recovering from Evo, to be quite honest with you.
100%.
I still watch the VOD. I was just talking to him about his top 8. Phenomenal work with James. And then even watching like the CPTs afterwards, I'm like, dude, I do not get a break. But for a very good reason. Because again, these guys are still consistently playing to become like the top player, to get into that Capcom Cup. Especially with this weekend, right? Again, there's so much on the line. Not even just the Capcom Cup, which is a big deal. But the top 8 players are also playing for a good amount of cash.
They are $5,000 of cash. There you go. That's spread across that top 4, so there's an extra reason to try to get in there. Now, naturally, the biggest prize, of course, as you're saying, is to qualify for Capcom Cup. But pretty cool to be able to get into that top 4 for the 5K as well.
And we were talking about Evo weekend. Even afterwards, just thinking about the pretty much diversity of characters that are available in that roster. We're starting to see that a little bit more, right? We're in a really good place with the season. I've talked about this pretty much every single CPT. You have as well. It's in a very, very solid spot in terms of character diversity.
Definitely right. Nobody, I think, other than the 2 humans who were in grand finals, right? Kawano and Idov. We all know that they're great players.
Good cover.
But the 2 characters that they were playing in Colleen and in Laura, I don't think anybody would say are among like the top 5 characters. Colleen got nerfed a little bit. Laura's never been up there. And yet the game is in such a place where that can absolutely happen.
And it's funny, like, we don't even see Laura's appear that often.
No.
I feel like even looking at the current sheet that we've written out, Colleen is the only one that shows up, although slightly nerfed.
Yeah.
Laura, we rarely get to see. I guess that's only one person can really pilot that character. So
that's how it seems.
That's what it feels like.
That is how it seems.
But for the most part, in a very solid spot. One thing to know for sure is that as we get into our first match between Kusanagi and MX Gus, we're going to be seeing pretty much Sakura or Kage.
Yeah.
But I think Kusanagi's been rocking it out with Sakura way more. I haven't seen the Kage pick too much, unless in certain circumstances where he feels like maybe Sakura might not be the play, but she's just got phenomenal normals, like one of the best bufferable normals, standing light kick. We talk about that as a very important neutral tool to get the ball rolling, and Kusanagi is definitely a momentum-based player. MX Gus, on the other hand, knows to control that neutral, or is looking to control that neutral pretty well through ways of Colleen.
Two guys who've got a lot of history, of course, in the scene. Kusanagi was highlighted on the intro, but just to reiterate, second place Central America West #1 last year, and first place in Central America West #2 last year. So he ended up qualifying. It's hard to do better than that, right? Second and first. So he comes into here certainly as one of the favorites to look at. But at the same time, MX Gus, who made 9th place last time, I think has some incentive to not end up in that same kind of position, where if he were to lose twice here, that could be something that could come up. But he's a very strong player as well. He's already taken out Sol VNG, somebody who's gotten really good results in the past, including 4th at Central America West #2. So that may be a good sign for him already this weekend.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. I don't know how often MX Gus and Kusanagi have played off against each other, and I know you kind of look into that as well. I forgot what website it was, but we'll talk about that another time. But throughout the course of history, I feel like Kusanagi has always been one of the driving forces in the Central America region. And it's no doubt in my mind, he's going to be that running favorite throughout the rest of Street Fighter V for his region. But we'll see. Maybe the tables are going to turn today. That's the best part about the CPT. We're going to see all these players get that shot to greatness at the #1 spot. MX Gus already walking forward to Kusanagi, trying to establish it with the fireball game mostly, and then switching it up with the roundhouse, and I like that. Just in case MX Gus tries to go for something to maybe avoid the fireball with the counter poke, that's what I'm talking about right there.
He's already putting on an awesome display of control here on the Street Fighter Duel stage. Try to get through, not quite. And Kusanagi, again, calls it out.
Jesus.
He tried it before and it didn't work, but you can absolutely see that there's a lot of familiarity here. And in fact, I looked it up and he has a 100% win rate versus MX Gus in the last couple of years in tournaments in Mexico and in the CPT.
Already looking in prime position here in the Ring of Destiny for that spot into top 8. That was actually kind of dirty. That could have been either or in terms of throw or a normal. Either way, MX Gus, I think he tried to use movement as an option to get out. It wasn't really a counter hit.
You can tell he feels stuck. Okay, finally with the jump. Yeah, it worked out. It worked out. Here we go. Gus. V-skill 2.
How often have you seen that?
Not commonly. And trigger 1.
What is happening?
Really mixing it up.
What is actually happening?
Oh, yeah, using that to gain all the way into the corner.
It's so tough to anti-air consistently with Colleen, right? I think there was a little reluctancy to use that jab. But Kusanagi now on the offensive in the corner, trying to use a little bit of movement to bait out any sort of reaction, still gets the combo. A throw is going to be doing it, or a frame trap, and it's going to be the frame trap indeed. And that's so tough. That was off of a dash forward. I would have tried to press throw or tech as well. So that's very impressive from Kusanagi knowing exactly when that would hit.
Yeah, again, I think you can really see that he has a great bead on what his opponent likes to do, not just in those up-close situations, but in neutral as well. As he called out the jump with the upwards fireball, and he had a whole series of pressure that wasn't even right up close. It was kind of like slight pressure, but it was nevertheless him taking turn after turn after turn until Gus finally did jump out.
One of the things I like to see is what the offensive player is doing to condition the other, right? Kusanagi in the corner, when he had MX Gus in that first round, pretty much bathed him into pressing a button with a frame trap, and has consistently done so. Towards the end, he started to go for throws and then switch it back into frame traps again. So as we're getting through this neutral state, I'm looking forward to the knockdown from either player to see how they adapt from those bits of information given.
The range where MX Gus, I feel like, wants to be in control with Colleen is the range where Kusanagi has had a lot of success with punishing with stand roundhouse and pressuring with stand light.
Oh boy.
Look, I think that's fine actually. MX Gus will take that. Kusanagi all the way into the corner. Frozen.
Oh yeah!
Still frozen.
Yeah, the stun is racking up. MX Gus does manage to get thrown.
Ooh.
Kusanagi now no danger of stun. No longer in the icy zone.
Oh,
We
sick!
take that. We 100% take that.
Wow.
You're not gonna finish that? Okay.
Kusanagi, beautiful. And then the grab. So he's guessed right exactly on both grab at the end of this round and on frame trap at the end of the previous to put himself at match point.
Imagine punishing the target combo from that far away.
Dude, yeah.
Like, I get it if you've practiced it with a ton of other characters before, but we talked about this. We literally highlighted it before the match started. Sakura's standing light kick is so good.
Yeah. It's a chance, maybe. Okay. Allows that to push forward.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You can't get away with these instances where you're like -4.
Yeah, it's something that you're accustomed to being safe at. It just can't be in this match. Okay, yeah, here we go.
Oh, yes. That's something that'll trick a ton of players, no matter what level. Oh, my God. Look at the damage. She's bleeding.
Oh,
out of there, V-shift. You're actually stunned off of this. Considering scaling, it's not going to be a problem at all. Cleaning it right up. MX Gus. Again, using that V trigger 1 to get that opening, utilizing the V skill 2 to catch him slipping, enough for the stun to rack up. Very impressive from MX Gus.
Trigger 1 is really just about finding the corner. It's the whole point of it for him. And as you can see, he really made good usage of that last time. So Kusanagi now on the pressure himself.
Oh my God.
Backing off. He just looks like he feels comfortable at so many different ranges. Here we go.
Oh,
Yikes. Great pressure.
That just feels bad. And you could see the mental stack already adding up for MX Gus, falling for that frame trap, or excuse me, falling for that throw bait. The backdash in the corner, not going to work out. Kusanagi with the trademark. That is a Kusanagi trademark for sure.
This guy. When we asked for a quote from MX Gus, he said, "Again versus the best from Latin America." Again. And there it was. As you could see, Kusanagi continuing to look like maybe the best in the region as he qualifies for the top 8. We'll see him tomorrow.
Was he actually supposed to be up on the quotes? I don't even know.
No, not in terms of like stuff that we're showing on screen, but we did ask everybody to give us a spiel, and that was the spiel out of MX Gus. He also says, "I love mathematics." That's pretty sick.
Well, I mean, I feel like the math wouldn't have helped as much as it should have, to be honest with you, because there's one thing to note when it comes to the math, right? Being -4 against Sakura's light kick does not equate to a good time.
No. Not a great equation in your favor, unfortunately. So Kusanagi, again, he moves on. Look, as we said at the beginning, he is one of the favorites for the weekend. So not a big surprise that he would make winner's side top 8, but that is where he'll sit.
MX Gus still with another chance at life. Again, the Colleen play starting to see the light of day a little bit against Kusanagi, especially in game number 2. We're looking forward to seeing how he's going to adapt in the pool of sharks down below. But as we move on, Todokai versus Orangu. Orangu, you might have data on for me, David. But for the most part, again, we've talked about this. Orangu has really made himself known quite yet in the realm of top 16 for a Capcom Pro Tour event. Rocking with the Alex. This is the character I love seeing because it can be pretty explosive, right? Had a ton of tune-ups for this particular season. Looks to be a pretty solid character, and I can say that with confidence now. In comparison to Todokai, this character or this player we've seen a good amount of times as well.
Sure.
Urien might have received a little bit of a harsh treatment, but for the most part, Urien is still very much so viable.
Well, let's ask him what his thoughts are on the match. What do we got from Todokai? He says, "I just hope I don't end up in the next Alex Twitter clip." Oh, God. Yeah. When I'm on CFN and I load in a ranked and there's an Alex on the other side of the screen, that's always my first concern.
I immediately turn off the console.
I'm out of here. I'm not even going to take a chance.
Cool.
See ya.
One of those accounts have to be Demon Dan.
Right, yeah.
I'm not going to risk it. That's just the thing. Anytime I see the word Alex, anytime I hear about Alex, I know somewhere Demon Dan's senses are jingling.
You asked about his history, Orangu's history. I looked it up, and he actually did not make top 32 in each of the last year's Central America West events. So a much better result already for him as he's here in the top 16. He'd love to get top 8. We'll see if he makes that happen. But for Todokai, there is certainly more history, or as you discussed, 9th in Central America West 1 and 7th in West 2 last year, and we've seen him in previous years as well. So a lot of history on his side. Yeah, look, I mean, Urien, he is a little worse, but we were talking about Evo before. I don't know if you had a chance to see Evo and whether there was a Urien in there. There was. little fella named Tokyo who's pretty good, and he got pretty far with him. Look it up if you're interested. I'm not going to spoil anything because we're instead going to go into this match here between Todokai and Orangu, characters that we expect.
Round 1.
And a matchup that we don't really get to see. And I love, man, can we talk about the colors on
Greasy
my man,
green Urian. Ugh.
Yeah, you like that? You like that one?
Gross.
I love the tracksuit colors on Orangu representing the region.
Yeah. That is actually super cool.
I really like that. And I think that's one of the best parts about the tracksuit colors, too. You get to see, like, a good diversity of colors instead of just, like, the normal 2 that we're always so used to. Ooh.
It's not working out so far for Orangu as he's big stuck. This might be a perfect. Should be a perfect. Bam. Got him. Todokai, what a start.
Did he even need to? I understand, like, ensuring the victory and I like that. But, man, that's still a pretty a daunting round to play off against.
His suit's wet. Ugh.
It's a little greasy.
It's greasy.
Yeah, whatever he put on the top of his hair, whatever hair product it was,
yeah,
it
melting.
just seeped down into his suit.
Oh, no.
What's right after that?
I'm going to find it much better here in neutral. Oh, what a jump! Neutral jump, very interesting choice to be looking for that at that spot.
You notice Todokai has gotten away with a good amount of jumps, checking Orangu whenever he would commit to like any long-range normal. Pretty much treating it like a fireball, right? In anticipation of whatever normal Alex is trying to throw out, Todokai would jump.
Here we go.
Yeah, you don't get that for free.
Yes, activate. He's got super. Probably not yet, though. Oh, he does bring it out. It's going to be quite scaled.
I think what he's looking for is the situation afterwards.
Sure. He's got to contend with that super, though. The only wake-up that Urian has nowadays doesn't bring it out.
Yeah. Oh! You have to go for a reset to kill.
Watch out for that parry. Don't get clipped. Okay. All right. All right. Woo! Okay.
You know,
all right.
I also pressed throw. I also pressed throw because that was a very delayed jump.
Yeah, it was.
Like,
it was. Yeah. No. Very, very nicely done by Todokai.
You might see me reel in my chair because of the fact that I was right there with him. Orangu pressing the button where he shouldn't have, and that's I think that's the second time he's gotten tricked pretty much in that set, or at least that game.
Yeah.
I think Todokai has had the right reads in what Orangu wants to do in terms of the timing, so it's been pretty efficient so far. Can he move on and do that again, or will Orangu find the right buttons to press, or even just block for the most part? Oh! Word!
Yeah, that was pretty sick.
I love seeing the lariat as a whiff punish. Oh boy,
yes.
I love seeing that even
Doesn't
more.
really get great Oki here, but man, I really want to see his pressure. It's not something we've seen up close. Here's a great chance. Here's a great chance.
Jeez.
Wow. This needs to be punished. Yes, what a big risk to take by Orangu.
Now out of the corner, Todokai gets to put him in the blender. Where's the second mirror going to land? Make it safe. I love it. Off the wall. It doesn't even matter. It's stunned. But he has to finish the combo. The mirror pretty much forces it.
Can he get into grab kill range? I think he's there. Okay, Orangu waited. No! He waited for it, and then it didn't pay off.
That was going to be the Twitter highlight clip, by the way. With that
100%. 100%.
My lordy.
Todokai just taking it right to Orangu. We just haven't really seen extended pressure from him. This has got V-Skill 2 loaded up.
It's going to be pretty huge. I think that's going to be a...
It's gone.
It's already gone.
Yep.
I was going to say...
early? No, but no link.
No conversion.
Oh, let's go.
We'll take that.
Yeah, stealing a little bit of a turn as he moved in.
And it's so scary. I feel like Alex is also one of those characters that's so intimidating to even try to check on their dashes. You just see him schmoving. Word!
Oh, that actually makes sense. Wow, yeah. I love that tech from Todokai as he is going to get the dub, in part on his own moment that maybe should be Twitter clipped with his reaction to that EX Stomp. I mean, from an Alex perspective, you want to get EX Stomp there. Not only is it plus, but you can go into another special because you got the V skill on. But if you're at all in the air, it's not going to connect.
Correct. So
And
that moment, yeah, that makes sense.
With the headbutt, you're in the air. So I love that specific knowledge right there from Todokai as he moves into top 8.
Yeah, pretty sneaky with it, too. I didn't realize he was holding that charge throughout that moment. You know, I think that's one of the things Orangu needed to take note of. Is like, you have to understand when it comes to charge characters, if they are blatantly holding down for a while, they're obviously going to have that charge ready. So it's just something to keep in mind. If you try to break that charge in any way by your movement, you also don't have access to your stomps, too. But it's like, it's a nice back and forth challenge you have to have. But speaking of back and forth, man, Mir doing pretty, I would say, slight work. The only time we actually saw it as effective was towards the end, where he actually had the up mirror going on. But
there you go. Again, great job
so
by Todokai.
Good. So good.
So he breezes into that top 8. It'll be Kusanagi versus Todokai tomorrow. A couple of marquee folks here in this region. Todokai, as he often has in the CPT and other places, kind of puts Panama on his back. It's him and just a couple of other folks who unfortunately couldn't make it this weekend from that country. And for him, winner's side, he's the sole rep, as you could see.
Not bad
And he
at
makes
all.
top 8 while doing it.
Not bad at all, right? MJ Gama now going to be going up against Chontekas to kind of get us through before our break. Again, MJ Gama, another fan favorite. I feel like that's a name that's been pretty much put in high regard for previous iterations of Street Fighter as well. Still sticking with the Kami, and also just a dominant powerhouse with this character. Has made it into the finals, has made it into multiple top 8 scenarios for the Latin America region, going up against Chontekas using the Abigail. And this is what I wanted to see. I want to know exactly what this Abigail is going to bring to the table against someone like Gama. Speaking of, we do have Gama's quote ready for you all to see what he had to say going into top 16. Chontekas is a great player, and he beat me the last time we played, but not this time. This one is for real. I will make him post some salty stuff on Twitter after I beat him.
Very nice. Very nice.
That is quite the declaration to make. I don't know who was actually more upset about the match.
Yeah, in the Mexican World Warrior events back in July of this year, Chontekas actually won 3-2 in the top 8 for that event versus Gama. So a close one, but nevertheless, there is some history there. And twice in 2022, including in Torneo Street Fighter V Mexico, $5,000.
Sheesh.
Chontekas also took that W in the top 8. So the last couple times, in fact, he has had success. You know, we were talking earlier, when was the last time that you saw an Abigail in winner's side of a CPT? And I think it might have been the last time that we watched Central America West. It's just such a rarity to see that character in big events like this. I don't think anybody would tell you that it's a bad character, which is, I think, a funky thing here. Nevertheless, it's rare. And I think part of that is just the archetype. Not everybody loves that kind of character. But one person who does is Chontekas, who says his fact about him is, I love the big body brawler grappler archetype. Yeah, so I may have a rooting interest here. I'll try not to, but we'll see.
You know, I think we're pretty much in tune with our players. You're more of a Chontekas guy because of Abigail. I'm more of a Gama fan because I also play Kami.
That's right.
I get it. I totally understand. But putting it down to paper, most of the time, historically, I feel like Kami can beat up some of the grapplers, some of the brawler archetypes, but there's something unique about Abigail.
Yeah.
I think he still covers some of those bad matchups pretty well, considering the range of normals that he has, being able to cover both ground and air approaches pretty consistently, I think. So
Totally agree.
We'll see how that plays out, especially with V-Skill 1 as well. Not a bad deal.
Totally, yeah. I think if you're on point with your anti-airs, you got to be fast because she does jump quickly. But if you are, it's really hard for her to move forward. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you're fast, it's really hard for her to get in. And then you got this big plus on block stand medium that you can link out of. Oh, everything's going for Chontekas' side.
Don't get command grabbed. I told you not to get command grabbed.
You told him.
He had how many frames?
You told him.
I need to call Smug right now and ask how many frames he had to sit down.
It really couldn't have gone any better for Chontekas. Exactly what he wants to have happen is happening. He's able to keep Gama at range. Okay, not quite in time there. But after grab, you're going to be away, back to your exact range where you want to be as Abigail.
Not too bad. Not too bad at all, right? Forcing MJ Gama to kind of spend the cash early to get that opening. But this is where it's a bad spot for not even just Abigail, but for the entire roster. Look at MJ Gama putting in that work, forward throw now. Just one more sequence to possibly get a stun, but it has to be off of a normal. And this is where Chontekas gets to reduce that stun, unblockable, not a lot of damage, but the goal was reduce the stun, get out of the corner.
Yeah. Oh! Not quite there on the block. Could have been punished big time. And Gama is not going to give an easy chance for Chontekas to punish something, to counter something. Gama has not pressed the button in 10 seconds as he's moving into the corner. Okay!
That's not bad. Gets the knockdown. What's happening afterwards? That's plus forever, by the way, that standing medium punch. You had to do reversal that? I get it.
Yeah. It's not enough. Oh, wake up! He's got Super! He is going to bring it out. And he doesn't get immediate command grab on here, but he can pester with normals. If she lives, okay.
She's gonna live. Dash up. Watch that low.
Oh, block is there, but not punished. And then Gaba came right back in.
That's kind of like the obvious one. Like you want to use that low to check the movement, but the overhead being still within range, that was an excellent block from Gama.
Yeah. Key. So very hard fought game. Gama in.
Oh my God! That's what I love to see. Also, the different approach angles that Cammy can take. If you throw out a button a little earlier on some of the larger characters, you can't stuff out the normals they use to anti-air. Very smart choice from Gamma.
If you're going to do jump instant strong, genius whiff punish. Jump instant strong is super hard for Abigail to deal with because it really hits him in the face. You just don't have much time as the player to deal with that.
Ooh.
Blocks this time. Last time he had tried to challenge. Trunkett just taking the grab.
Imagine trying to jump and the flicker just comes out of nowhere, just squelching you right in front of Abigail's face. Pretty intimidating if you ask me, but MJ Gamma, even more intimidating, has the trigger on deck.
Nope. Activation, he tried it again. Yes.
The universal, excellent choice. You know, I'm willing to get rid of that as well. MJ Gamma making the right choice here.
And he's got super, which is going to be very useful for whiff punishing, very useful for preventing Chontekas from easily charging.
Oh my god! Watch out!
Super's almost here. Next hit for Chontekas.
If he does another unblockable,
oh, the hit confirm comes!
Doesn't even matter. You're hella dead,
That big boy? That big baby?
Oh,
he lives dash in the mix.
Okay, you were in kill position.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it that way, right? Granted, that was a crouching heavy punch, still linking into, or excuse me, canceling off of into that whole critical arc. I thought he was gonna die.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I forget how much health this guy has
He's
because of the fact that we haven't seen him as often, right?
Yeah. Yeah, big character. Yeah, I feel you really saw a lot of what both players want to be doing. Obviously, round one was everything that Chontekas wanted.
Oh, yeah.
But then after that, Gamma really settled it down a lot. His air approaches were mixed up very well. He whiff punished well.
You saw the attempt for the crouching parry. Not going to be enough. MJ Gamma, oh boy, trying to take to this guy. Chontekas has done a very good job of keeping Cammy grounded, I will say.
Yeah.
The only time he's gotten caught was maybe EX dive kick a couple of times.
So now with her trigger ready, he can't whiff something and expect to get away.
Oh, except that maybe.
Quite a hit confirmable button for him. Crouching medium.
Oh, we talked about that being one of the tools against anti-airs.
Out of here.
Or against air approaches, I should say.
Oh boy. Prioritizing the escape early, crouching fierce.
It's so good. It's so good. It's so active. Do it again. Oh, word. Oh. Did we see? I think I might have blinked, but in that instance, MJ Gamma had gone for another early normal to stuff out the anti-air approach, right?
Exactly.
Chontekas took the alternative route. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna chill for a little bit. I have the life lead. I don't want to take any risks if I get clipped. Very smart.
Didn't take any risks there defensively either, as he just took the grab. And again, the grab kind of resets to the situation where he oftentimes does feel comfortable. No risk there. Empty jump low. Hey.
What a confirm. There's a lot of time off of that crouching light kick.
Oh!
And it still goes the other way. Don't get grabbed. Yeah, and Gamma actually took a step back in preparation for a possible command grab. But not too bad here. That could have been a big whiff punish.
Yes. It is out there for a little while. Yes, again! And he's fully into the corner now. There has not been a wake up DP. It hasn't come yet. And he knows Chontekas pressuring. Oh, empty jump! What a mix! Chontekas evens it up one game apiece.
It's so difficult. Like, holding on to your meter, being in that corner, you see a jump in that's not really a safe jump, and you opt to just sit there because of the fear that's been instilled already. You're literally like one touch away. You could mistime it, you could get snuffed out, but that was a perfect time to put on the mix. Chontekas getting 2 command grabs in a row. The second one in a very unorthodox style, empty jump into command grab. You know this. You know the fear is definitely instilled in Gamma.
Yeah, and that jump instant roundhouse for Abigail is almost dive kick-like. I mean, it really comes out quickly. It's like a short hop almost in some games. And so if you are expecting to have to block that, he's on the ground before you're like ready to anti-air. You have to really be on the ball to be looking for that. And that came rarely, right? Like there hasn't been that many jump forwards for Chontekas, so I understand expecting that like that kind of thing might come in that moment, but just great read on Chontekas' side. You take a look back at the players here. I believe it's that Gamma has gone back to the lobby, not expecting a character switch here. But look, as we mentioned before, this is somebody who comes into this as absolutely one of the favorites. You know, we talked about Kusanagi earlier, but MJ Gamma got first place in the first Central America West, so we didn't even get a chance to see how he would have done in the second one. He's a great player and certainly one to look at. So for him to be facing this specific player who has actually beaten him the last 2 times that they've played is maybe a rough draw, and he does maybe need to take some time to think about it.
There's a lot of approaches that he wants to use as Cammy. A lot of it getting stuffed out. He hasn't really figured out the ground game to the full extent, but it's difficult to when Abigail just occupies so much of that space with a good amount of normals, right? Standing medium punch, crouching medium kick as well. I think you'd have to try to play either like a counter poke game or maybe like a whiff punish game. You'd have to mix between the two and keep it ambiguous because Chontekas also want to adapt to the scenario. Now he's being the aggressor. I like that dasher from Gama.
Yes.
Didn't get checked, but now it's going to be on Chontekas' radar.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, if Gama can really make dash forward happen as well as jump, that could be a huge addition to his game. Or max range, that could be useful too. Sure, sure.
No conversion. He did get the frame trap off of the stand medium punch kind of starter, right? I would like to see that converted a little bit more. Gama, again, he has to make the straight hits count.
He walks in, walks right back out. Virtual take us again. Oh, jeez.
You just
early. And now it's on Chontekas again to walk down. He's been comfortable doing that.
And that's what I like to see. A lot more mileage coming in from the standing medium kick. Word, that was just an overlap of inputs.
I mean, I would think so, yeah. Could be the greatest read of all time. But Gama is going to land, having called out exactly that there would be sweep activate. Blew it up, match point.
So far, good stuff from Gama. Word, the one option that hasn't been flexed at all gets countered.
Yeah.
The hooligan
nice work.
is,
these guys know each other well. You can tell that.
It was kind of nuts.
Gama from Mexico City, Chontekas from Mexicali.
Oh boy.
Well, that was not the max range. Oh, she's going to pay big time. Half of her life taken off.
Yeah,
no exaggeration on
what
that.
Happens? Oh, the weight. Oh!
All the way to the corner. Can she get there in time? Not quite. Look at Gama trying to take his turn big time.
You see these dashes? A lot more fear from the side of Chontekas. Now, Gama with a reset. The stun is going to happen onto the other side, but it's going to be fine now. He may not have the critical art. He might build it enough, or he might kill on the way over. This is going to be so awkward.
Chontekas has got to hold on to that trigger. Yes, he does. She's going, no.
You're dead.
Is that enough? No. Other side, she's ready for back strong still more.
Oh my lord. How many steps did Gama take forward to try to check Chontekas? Chontekas immediately wigging up crouching light kick. I was in fear of Gama's life. Chontekas could have had a setup for maybe like another unblockable if Gama wasn't ready for it. That's why I was so nervous. I'm like, yo, this guy's dead. When we see the unblockable setup, it's like, this guy is actually dead.
Gama has really been able to... Oh, yeah? Let's go. Gama's showing some interesting tools. With punish here, no. Okay. Chontekas is going to get corner, pressure, worried about DP. These V-Revs have not been punished. They've all hit.
If he finds a way to maybe like V-skill that, it's going to be a game of damage. But it's not going to be the case here. Gama is instead the one dealing all the damage. Here we go. Critical art. We're going to see a double dash forward.
That is a maximally loaded Abigail, though. Uh-oh. Don't get got. That's all.
Oh, that's a lot of space to give the man a comeback. We'll see if it plays out.
This is already within kill range under maximum scenario, so you're literally 2 hits away in practical situations from death. Gama's got to be worried. Uh-oh! Uh-oh! Anti-air's going to work for sure. Chontekas going to come in. No meat on the other side, but 2 red bars.
Can you get command grab? You can. The command grab to death?
Off.
Oh, boy.
What a tick! Calling out air approach.
It's so tough. It's so tough. He's got steam coming from his biceps.
Oh, what of all things? Dash, dash, grab. Chontekas never saw it coming. He thought dash, dash, button maybe. Dash, dash, grab was not on the radar. Gama, what a big turn to steal. What bravery right there at the very end.
I think all the information that Gama needed came from that previous activation of V-Trigger where he started to dash up and be very aggressive against Chontekas. Instead of giving him time to assess the situation, going forward was the best play, right? Not even giving him a chance to kind of counter poke or whatever. Just dashing up in his face was, I guess, the strategy. As you know, simple as that sounds, there's a lot of conditioning that goes into that prior.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, it was a close one. That's our closest match so far. And what else to be expected, again, from a player who we're all looking at as one of the favorites in Gama, and Chontekas, who, you know, has taken Gama out in the last couple times that they've played in significant tournaments.
And again, there's so many situations. Man, Chontekas, again, it's been a pretty back and forth in terms of ordeal in terms of the damage that's been done. We see it go down to pretty much the last round, but the conditioning overall from both sides is phenomenal.
Yeah, this moment here.
Word, I
yeah.
can't. That's so much pressure to put on somebody. Like, that could have killed Gamma. That exact sequence of dashing up twice, that could have been like that second dash gets counter hit.
Absolutely, it could have been stand strong, right? Like any number of things, right? From Chontekas's Abigail, but didn't come. Instead, Chontekas will be down in loser's side, and we'll see him later on as he tries to qualify still through into the top 8 for tomorrow. But before we get to that, I'd like to tell you about something that's coming up soon.
Real soon, David?
Well, let's go with soon. Okay. Let's go with soon.
Soon TM.
Soon is when you can expect the Capcom authorized mobile game Street Fighter Duel, which is now available for download in China for the global version. It's coming soon. Fight along with Ryu, Chun-Li, and Ken against the Suzaku Castle, further into the Shadowloo City. Explore the mysterious organization, experience the classic stories with all your fighters, and recall your memories of the original Street Fighter. You got various fighting styles, you got counters, stuns, combos, supers. It's just an impressive array of fighting elements. And the combos offer you a new battle experience to challenge your combat skill. Hey, the epic legend is reborn soon. Download Street Fighter Duel soon, and let's fight for each other, and soon join the journey with millions of players to soon become the best fighter.
It could have come sooner than that, to be honest with you. We're looking forward to many other instances of Street Fighter V tournaments going out throughout the world. In fact, we talked about the World Warrior Project a couple of times on this stream, but just to kind of give you a reminder, all the Street Fighter V action is happening throughout 26 different regions for the World Warrior Project. 26 regional champions will be inducted into Capcom Cup to participate as well. These events happen monthly, so head on over to CapcomProTour.com for all the information and how to register. In fact, we had one going on in France not too long ago, a couple of hours, I should say, and Valmaster happened to take it, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Seeing that name, by the way, blows my mind.
Pretty cool.
It's super cool. Big ups to those in France as well. I know everybody pretty much on this sheet, on this ad right now, have been putting in the work for their locals, and they're finally getting that moment to shine with the World Warrior event. Again, if you guys want to try to earn a spot in the Capcom Cup, another way to do it, CapcomProTour.com for all the details and ways to sign up for your region.
The first Central America West one was taken by Doomsnake. Again, he wasn't able to enter this, but Todokai got third. Fulgore, MK2 got fourth. Anyway, we'll go through the full results later on when we come to some of those other players, but for now, let's take a quick break. We'll be back with more of the CPT Central America West in just a bit.
Coming back right into it for the top 16, we're getting ready to see who will make it into our top 8 in the hotly contested region of Central America West. My name is Vicious, here with my man Ultra David to continue on the rampage that has been happening currently for this region. Very excited to watch it. I was just talking to him about how much I love to watch the Latin America regions in general, right? We've already seen 2 of the favorites from the winner side make it, although one of them with Gamma making it very, very close to Chontekas, coming off of a losing streak against him outside of the CPT. So very curious to see how Chontekas is going to go into his loser's run, but we still have one more winner side to play.
Yeah, let's move on. This is going to be Hagen versus Rasek, and this is an interesting one maybe in a different way. And we've talked about how everybody was looking at Gamma, Kusanagi, Todokai, etc. Those are names that we're all very familiar with. For these two players, if you're not from the region, I think there might not be as much familiarity. Hagen says that Rasek's the best Bison in Mexico and that they always have great matches. Rasek says that Lucia is a rushdown character that's going to be a very difficult match for him. He's been playing since Street Fighter 4. But this is Rasek, he didn't get what he wanted to in the last CPTs. So last year he went 25th place and then 9th place. Whereas for Hagen, he didn't get top 32 in either. So again, they're coming at this from a little bit of a different angle than the last few matches that we had. And for that reason, I'm very excited to see which one of these two players does continue their trek here into the top 8.
Thinking about it with the current record of Hagen, I want to know if it was due to the fact that he was using Lucia throughout the entirety of his run in the CPT. Was there a difference in the changes that she received? Were there significant buffs to kind of propel this person and the character into the top 16 spot? I would love to know. Again, we kind of talk about this in terms of discovering some of the newer players of the region or players that have been flown under the radar. Please let us know over on social media.
Absolutely.
We love to encourage that. Let us know about some of these players that you may have better insight on so that we can further educate the rest of the world. Yeah,
Hagen from Mexicali and Rasen from Monterrey in Mexico. He beat Hastero to get in here. So, I mean, already a very, very strong player that he's made his way through.
That's actually pretty impressive.
It's legit. No doubt
really
about
impressive, yeah. I think running it with Bison as well, I think, against Yazero, in terms of like how they've been playing, or how Yazero's been playing over time, that's still something that's, you know, been in his wheelhouse. Like, people have to know how to fight against Bison.
For sure. Hey, you talked a little bit about Lucia. This character did get some buffs, some quality of life stuff. Oh, lovely, keeping his eye really, really closely on the anti-air right there as he moves forward.
That crouching medium punch was super meaty, by the way. Go on.
No, she just... her buffs were not like world-changing buffs, but they were buffs that made her offense a little bit more strong, a little bit more varied. She does have a little bit better in terms of ability to keep up on things. So I really like where she's at. Max range slide going to be good.
I'm glad you mentioned varied, too, because a lot of the openers that she can get off of a crouching right can now lead to actual decent damage or a better scenario for herself.
Yeah, she starts the party a little bit more easily and keeps it going, too. Oh, offensive Vera. We got the corner. Yes! Takes the life, at least.
That's going to be just fine. Yeah, and I love that choice. As soon as you see the fireball up, EX Stomp to get out of the corner. Not going to be trying to hit or force a block. We're just using it for movement. But finds himself back into it. The big read to stop the V-trigger activation. Hagen, double suplex into the corner. An excellent call out against the slide into trigger activation. Rosek paying the fee on that, actually. You can't just travel. You can't just like magnetically travel across the gravel.
Well, he had that early slide in round number 1, and then maybe was just hoping it would work out again. But here he is. He's got the corner. Very oppressive character here. Hagen got a lot of resources.
Ooh. Yeah, well, you know, not too bad. We'll take that. Activation now. A lot of plus frames, and I don't blame you for pressing a button. He walked back so far.
Yeah, he's just so patient. Woo! All the way into the corner.
And I love that still with the threat of the trigger. Boy, oh boy. Oh, just slightly missed the safe jump setup. You love to see it.
Yeah, I mean,
the risk taken and the bus out.
Yeah, you miss one thing, you get another. That's cool. Gotta look for the approach. Nothing here. No follow-up as well.
That's kind
to
of
what side?
Oh,
funky situation. Set up us the bomb. Here's Rusek. Chase, not the rest.
The bomb no longer a threat, though. I will say, you know, Rosek does... Yeah, I was going to say, he could throw out another slide. Word? That just clipped. What was that, a standing medium punch?
Yeah. Not a common choice at that range. Wow, Hagen.
Hot damn. That walk speed is very deceptive. I always forget that Lucia is pretty much like a pretty up there in terms of the walk speed. Yeah. Walk back specifically. So that actually threw me off guard. I didn't think she was going to be out of that range to even leave from that back throw, or even, back throw in general from Bison, because I think that's still like the furthest reaching grab in the game.
Very far grab. Yeah. But yeah, her walk speed allows her to escape some situations that are just really tough spots for a lot of other characters. So Hagen playing well, 1 game away from the top 8.
I love that interruption from the fireball. Rosek, but now finds himself in the corner yet again. Absorption, it's mine now. Ooh. They confirm.
Wow.
Even bigger counter.
Here we go. Links it. Beautiful stuff. Rosek in big trouble.
Look at the damage,
David. A grapple kill.
Don't get grabbed. Don't get grabbed. Oh, my God. I love the Lucia exhibition we're seeing before our very eyes. This man is tricky when it comes to the V-trigger.
Yeah, the offense has been amazing.
I don't even know when to press the button, David. Like, I want to punish stuff.
Yeah.
But you can't punish stuff because she's going to throw out the baton.
Like, as the viewer here, right, like, you know, you're trying to find out when you should take your turn. Offensive viewer again for Hagen. Again, the grab.
I'm a fan right now. Ooh. Still covering on the other side with the stand medium punch. Not bad. Rosek, again, finding the way out of the corner. Just hasn't done much on offense. There we go. That's a punish. Man, look at all the gray damage. We'll take that.
Yeah, this is exactly what he needed. He has not really had the 6-minute offense until right now. Puts himself in the corner. Oh, offense gone. Just like that. Hagen will have to activate. Here we go. All because Rosek put himself into the corner. He's stuck. Could follow up. It's -2. Here's Hagen yet again. And by the way, working on super on next hit.
This is going to be so important.
Oh! No!
That's not what he wanted at all.
Oh, with no bar, I'm really worried
You're dead.
for Chip.
You're dead.
Okay,
he knew
well.
it.
Yeah.
He knew it. We knew it.
Yep.
The Latin American people knew it.
Hagen, yeah, what a match! That Lucia looking good. I mean, again, what Rosic had to say about this was that it was going to be a difficult match. He said Lucia is a rushdown character that's not often used with good damage, and I think we saw all of that from Hagen.
I think the utilization of Trigger 2 to pretty much take his turn over and over again, or at least force these 50-50 scenarios, pretty much laid the game out for him, or at least the match out for him, I should say. I will say, though, Rosic had been known to kind of, hold on to the V gauge a little bit longer than he should have. I feel like there were certain instances where it was a little obvious of when he wanted to use the trigger, so I get why he wanted to use V reversal at certain moments. But there was just that checkmate scenario. He kind of put himself there. It's like, now that I have no bar left, I can't stop Hagen from getting this critical art chip damage.
I think that happened twice. The idea of him putting himself into that negative situation. Right at the very end was one, but then before that, remember all that great pressure he had when it was his turn in the corner, when Lucia was cornered. He then went for the cross of putting himself into the corner, and everything was downhill after that. So unfortunately for Rosic, he doesn't end up making it work here on winner's side, and so we know who our winner's side top 8 is. Kusanagi versus Todokai, Gamma versus Hagen, and then all the rest of today, we're going to be down in the losers.
And speaking of, we're going to start off with Lost Maximoff versus Soul VNG to kick things off. Rashid versus potentially Seth and or Luke for the most part, right? Winner of that is going to be facing off against Rosic afterwards. Maximoff versus Soul. We've seen these two a good amount of times. I don't recall the last time they've actually played off against each other, but they've definitely been in the realm of CPT a good amount of times. You can see right here all the information. The above 30 club, that's what I like to see.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely about that. But again, Rashid versus Seth is the pick for Soul VNG. And again, Maximoff rocking that Rashid for a very long time. We'll see how this plays out. Honestly, I think, Rashid has, both of these characters really have fallen off the grid significantly, right? We still see a handful of players kind of like navigate their ways through like top scenarios with Rashid, but not as much as it used to be, I will say. Same with Seth. We had a full league of Seth players at 1 year,
we did.
right? Now we rarely get to see that character. Granted, we did see them both in a top 8 scenario at EVO, but outside of that, right, there hasn't been an abundance of Rashid.
No, you're right. You're totally right. Yeah. They're just very good characters who you have to think about a lot as the potential opponent, certainly, but who you don't often come across, at least not as much as in the before times. As far as these players' histories, Maximoff lost to Kusanagi earlier today, so okay, that dude's in winner's side top 8. Soul VNG, sent down by MX Gus, then had to beat Beyond X Oblivion afterward. Look, he says the last time I played Maximoff, it was about 5 years ago. And I looked it up in 2017.
Jeez.
They did, in fact, play. Soul VNG won 2-1. That was in the CPT Online Latin America.
Oh my God.
But we'll see if it's going to be the same thing. He says, please no Rashid B-Skill 2. That's what he says.
Well, he got what he asked for.
He did.
Also, this color scheme of Seth is totally cheating.
Right? Come on.
Matching with the bathhouse? You know what you're doing. I appreciate it.
I love it.
Do what it takes to win.
Absolutely.
I get it.
Yep.
But it's kind of funny. I think it's really funny. Either way, the damage, not so funny. Soul VNG. I always go for Soul VNG for some reason. Pretty much laying down the pressure against Maximoff.
Yeah, walking back slightly where he knew he could anti-air. Beautiful stuff. That's a confident person right there. The ability to walk back slightly and still know that you're exactly where you need to be.
Yeah, there's a certain speed that Seth likes to play at, and that was the prime example of what speed I'm talking about, right? Just pretty much pushing forward, having the ability to counter poke. His normals may not be the longest, but they are pretty active.
Sure.
They lead to a lot of different scenarios for counter hit and could lead to these very moments right here. Now pushing to the corner. We talk about how soon Rashid could put somebody into the corner. Seth definitely in that category as well.
That's true. Fantastic corner carry. Maximoff has done a lot of backing off. Yeah, again, Soul VNG moving forward. The quick kick this time. Oh, man, those two axe kicks as well. Just not what Maximoff was looking for.
Man, I never realized actually the bathhouse does the same kind of lighting effect as in Street Fighter 2. Did you see like the LED where it just like changes like the animation? Like you see the sun in the background change colors. It's exactly what you think from Street Fighter 2, and it actually shows up in 5. I've never seen that because most of the people I see play end up in the corner.
First of all, I don't even know what you're talking about with Street Fighter 2. Second of all, this is the stage that is my favorite since I play Honda, so it's what I usually play on when I'm on CFN, and I've never seen that match.
What? Both of those statements blows my mind, by the way. You're weird, man.
I don't know what to tell you.
You're weird, dude. How do you not know these things? I don't know. Either way. I get it. Either way.
I'm here for the gameplay. I'm here for this corner carry that we've seen so far.
The trigger activation is going to be pretty much keeping Soul in the corner.
Very
it's just
difficult.
so intimidating.
Yeah. However, into the corner he goes. The activation is going to be plus frames again.
Stealing the turn. There is a significant gap to interrupt that spin kick.
Yeah.
And now Maximoff taking full advantage. Wait a minute. We talk about the potential counter pokes that Seth can utilize.
Soviet G has the resources.
Oh, that could have been. You love
V-trigger.
to see it. You know, Soul VNG could have gone for the uppercut and the critical art, but I get it. You know, having the V-trigger 1 still available, you get to do the demon cradle, I should say.
Yeah. When we do see Seth, as you said, not very often, but when we do, it's almost always V-trigger 2 nowadays. So cool to see V-trigger 1 again. Soul VNG's got the corner. Whoa, tricky.
Ooh, plus frames again. There hasn't been any sort of contention from Maxima. We'll take that to start things off.
DP, surely. Yeah, this is one of the really first chances that Maximoff's had. I totally understand the DP. Stun! Look at this.
This is not going to kill her. Despite the life. Yeah, I was going to say.
Not quite.
That's going to be huge.
Oh, it's going to be one hit. Will he build bar? No, not quite super.
Oh my god! You're actually dead. I love seeing V-Trigger 1. It's still a really cool V-Trigger.
Yeah.
Right? You get the damage extension. There are certain moments where you can actually get yourself in a plus frame scenario off of hands. It's really neat, but I think, you know, it's a lost art nowadays. It's weird to say that. It's kind of ironic.
Yeah,
because,
you're right, though.
V-Trigger 2 has been running rampant, but Soul VNG taking it down with a Seth. Pretty impressive.
As he had 5 years ago. However, that one was 2-1, and this one was 2-0.
It's so weird saying 5 years ago, or from 5 years ago, just because, you know.
In 2017, which was 5 years ago.
The blip happened.
I feel like 2017 is the future, so I mean, I'm completely way off of it at this point.
But, you know, talking about the match itself, I think there was just a lot of things that weren't uncontested. I feel like once those kind of got checked, or if they got checked, I think it would have made a pretty significant difference for Maximo, right? Not letting Soul take these turns over and over and over again would have been pretty important. But as it stands right now, again, once Soul got his opening, he made the damage count more often than not. Whether it was like a counter poke scenario, any sort of like punish scenario. I don't think he got a lot of punishes, actually. It came mostly down to counter poke scenarios, counter it into conversions.
Absolutely right. So not going to work out for him. And we're going to move on.
Into full gore. I'd love to say MK2. I always think it's like Mach 2. But going up against Uriel, Velorio, both of these names we've seen a good amount of times as well. Kind of curious to see how this is going to play out because Uriel has been using 3 characters in rotation as of late.
Right.
Ken, Cody, and Lucia. I talked to the producer in the back. I was asking him, I was like, do we remember what character Uriel might have used? Because I thought it was Cody. But that could have been from like my CFN research. But I think he also mentioned like Ken was the last used character from the most recent CPT that he was a part of.
It is what he was saying. And Ken is the character that shows up right there. We'll see. Wow, 21 years old. I thought he had been around longer. But shout outs to Uriel Velorio, 21 years old versus the 34. You know, we've seen a really good range of ages, as we tend to, I think, on the CPT. Very commonly to see about 20 to about 40. We had seen 39 a couple times already today. So that's how it goes. Anyway, let's hear what we got from the players. Fulgor MK2 says, a little nervous. I didn't think I would make it this far.
Considering his path, what did he go through to kind of make his way into the top 16?
So he actually lost to himself earlier on. The letters D and Q took him out. And since then, he's been...
That's a 10-0 matchup, man.
That's a tough one for sure. And since then, he's been making quite a long road, in fact, on the way through. So he hasn't, like, lost to any humans, which is a pretty good start.
Not bad.
Yeah, absolutely right. And we were talking about the World Warrior events that are going on worldwide. Of course, there's one going on in this region, too, in Central America West. And in the last one, Fulgor MK2 got 4th place. So it's not like he's coming into this having done poorly in recent events. Yeah, no, that's fantastic for him. In fact, of the players who are in this tournament, the only one who did better was Todokai, who got third. So it's, you know, a good start for him, good way that he's coming in, but he does come into this versus Uriel Velorio, who got 4th place in Central America West 1 and 17th in Central America West 2 last time, and has had success in other events as well. Somebody who has had, you know, stronger, significant tournament experience, or success at least.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing what the character is going to be used. If it actually is going to be sticking to the Ken, it is. Okay, great. This is also what I want to know when it comes to Fulgore and the way that he plays. Being the Akuma loyalist that he is, I feel like he's been taken down a notch significantly. We don't see that many Akuma players at all, right? It's all the loyalists. Even Tokido doesn't even use it.
You're absolutely right, yeah.
Like the murder face, right? Doesn't use Akuma anymore. But you see it right here. We're going to see exactly what he brings to the table. And I think still, man, Ken is so explosive.
Ken's very strong, no doubt about it. Will that stun? In fact, nice calculations by Uriel Velorio, who doesn't quite kill.
This character's so cool, David.
Okay.
No pun intended. I know, I get what Ken's about. Plus frames after that, yes, sir. That's a really interesting position because, again, that dash not being checked could have led to a big opening for Fulgore. It's just still pretty intimidating. That was a huge life lead to try to catch up with.
Misidentified. Here's Fulgore, MK2, pressuring. Oh, jeez.
We'll take that.
Absolutely.
That keeps him honest. Like, you can't be trying to get these frame traps if he has an uppercut loaded.
More Rochi PC. That was so good. Nice.
I love it. I love seeing that. The heavy DP past the fireball. Back throw.
Hey, yes. We couldn't really convert. Yeah, beautiful stuff. Just great cage right now by Uriel Velorio. Plus frames here. Fulgore stays still. Look at the movement.
And it's so tough to contest against now. Uriel taking advantage of the range that medium touch has, being able to actually get a Tatsu off of it. So watch out. Fulgore, oh boy.
Yeah. Oh, he was so confident in the walk-up. The movement is what sticks out in my mind from Uriel Velorio. He just was so hard to get a read on. Where was he going to be? He backdashed, he forward dashed, he ran, he was jumping. And all of it in ranges and timings that were very difficult to expect and very difficult to deal with. In his fact about him, he says he's been playing since he was 13.
You know, we've seen a lot of greats come out in the realm of Street Fighter at such a young age, right? Justin Wong being one of them, Filipino man, another one having those kind of stories. Uriel looking to make himself known in the same fashion. Already off to a great start. Fulgore looking to pretty much round it out.
Oh, even that trade's great. Ooh. Look at this. Everything's going right.
Towards the right of the screen as well. Even if he didn't get the corner, he was still busting up Fulgore. That machine is getting shut down. Uriel now at match point. Ooh, a little awkward of an exchange.
Again, giving every look to his opponent, every different angle that Ken has, Uriel's coming at. And now you know that you can't get hit by any of these errant pokes. They're going to be confirmed.
Ooh. Oh! So sneaky EX uppercut. No, regular uppercut. He wants to get the stun. Back throw will do it. The overhead does get denied. Fulgore with buttons on his wake up.
Oh, here we go. Got a chase.
Dashes a bunch. Forward throw now. What happens? Does have the trigger still. Could lead to a gang of damage or just a way in. No check on the run.
But again, it's really hard to know where Uriel's going to be.
And that makes sense, right? That's exactly why, you know, Fulgore hasn't been able to check the runs as often.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not enough. Anything will do it. Hey, it's actually a chance here. It's a chance.
Skill plus frames.
Okay. Is it going to be enough? No. Okay.
Word. Okay. That could have been scary.
Yeah.
A slight miscalculation from Fulgore. No problem still. Living to see another round.
There's the check. Man, as this goes on, maybe he's settling down a little bit. He's just looking better. Again, 4th place in the recent World Warrior.
Man, it's so tough. Checking the movement against Uriel. He's going like a mile a minute. But Fulgore still trying to like reclaim his pace a little bit. Now the fireball's being a problem. A reaction from near, what, 3/4 of the screen? Look at him. He's just pressing all of the buttons.
Yeah, he sure is. Worried about DPs. He backed off slightly.
Man! No check on the dash again. The low, no confirm. A little bit difficult to get that HP, fierce DP from that far.
Well, he has super now, and that might kill on this Akuma. Oh, tricky! Fulgore did not bite. Knockdown comes. Chase!
That
Here
works.
we go! He needs one more. Two more.
Now the dash doesn't get checked.
Oh,
That's
no!
huge.
No,
He
guys!
also
Settle
dropped
it down.
it.
Settle it down.
Keep it down back there, David. Keep it down back there. Uriel still checking the movement against Fulgore. Caught him standing up, the low medium kick. And still, even if that was blocked, it would have been plus frames regardless. Uriel eliminating Fulgore MK2.
That was such a scramble at the end. I feel like we've all been in those situations, those big scrambles towards the end. You know, there's a lot on the line here in the tournament, right? This is the match where you go home or not. And fortunately for Fulgore MK2, he had the error. So did Uriel Velorio. But in those kinds of situations, I feel like the better character to have is Ken. That's the character among these two who, in scrambles, just better takes advantage of those moments. And Uriel's the player who did better in them as well.
I was expecting Ken to kind of be like the winner in this matchup, but not in this fashion. Uriel, again, just showing off the movement that he has with this character can be so unpredictable and so hard to keep up with. Like Fulgore, he was trying. There were certain instances where he got away with, or excuse me, where Uriel got away with like a lot of jumps, a lot of dashes. Fulgore tried to check him with a couple of fireballs. That also got read a good amount of the times. Like when you're talking about mid-screen and trying to stop that approach initially, you think about the fireball game because Akuma's not going to have the normals to stop it.
As it went on, I felt like there was more understanding and strength on Fulgore's side. But look, it's the first of two, and you got to be quick on the draw. And if you're not, then you're not going to make it happen. And so unfortunately for Fulgore MK2, he's got to go find another fighting game to play. And for Uriel Velorio, it's going to be versus Chontecas in the next round.
I actually can't believe that was 3 matches already.
I mean, yeah.
Now that I think about it, so when we came back from break, I believe we started it off with a 2-0. Then you could see down from the loser side another 2-0 from Seoul VNG, 2-0 Uriel Velorio. It's just been going in. All the action does not stop, but it is what it is. We have to stop just a little bit and take a break and talk about what's to come very soon. TM. Going into it, the Capcom authorized mobile game Street Fighter Duel is now available for download in China, with a global version coming very, very soon. The epic legend is reborn on mobile. Download Street Fighter Duel now, and let's fight for each other and join the journey with millions of players to become the best fighter. I've been looking forward to it. I think every single person that I've been on the desk with possibly has been looking forward to it because I'm a big sucker for mobile games.
Yeah, I definitely hear that, and we'll see it soon, I'm sure. Soon is also going to be CPT South Africa. Coming up pretty quickly there, as you can see on your screen. Brazil will be after that. Then we have Nordic Baltic after a little bit of a break. But the very next one will be South Africa. So if you happen to be from the South African scene, please head on over to CapcomProTour.com. Make sure that you register and play. I would love to see as many players as possible in that event. We've seen that in the last couple of years on the CPT, and there really is a strong scene there. And I think they're the best players in that scene, I feel like, can hang with the best players from a lot of different scenes. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Again, that's going to be August 27th. If you're there, registration's still open, but it will be closing soon, so get in while you can.
And again, there's just so many events that have been going through the CPT, and it's getting closer and closer to that big dance. You guys do not want to miss it. South Africa, Brazil, Nordic Baltic region, so much more to go through. Those are the next 3 events that you could look forward to. In general, we are going through the top 16 of losers. We're still slowly trying to figure out, well, I shouldn't say slowly because it's been 2-0s all across the board, right? Slow down a minute, please. In fact, let's take a break. We'll be back with more Street Fighter V action. Grab some refreshments. We'll be back with more Street Fighter V action here.
We're back on the CPT. We've been taking a look today at the Central America West region. We've seen players from Mexico. We've seen players from Panama. We know that at least a couple of those are each in the top 8. Because we've had already decided our winner's side top 8, which means that all we have left to do is the last round and a half of loser's side. That means we got a lot of great matches coming up. My name's Ultra David, and I'm here with Vicious.
Yeah, we got 2 more players, 2 more sets of players to go through. The first round of losers, if we could take a look at the bracket. But majority of the games have been pretty much 2-0. We've gone through like 2 breaks already, but it feels like a blip. As you can see, Jano87 facing off against Timbers Chocali to be specifically, and then RH Vicaron versus Raptor 5 Yazdero. A lot of character representation from these 4 players, by the way. Sagat versus Nikali is what you could expect.
Yep.
It's not something we expected at all.
No.
Sagat versus Nikali is something we haven't seen too much. What's actually funny about that is I feel like there was a moment where there was like a CPT event where I saw like this matchup. So I might be full of it. I might be full of it a little bit, but
It's not a common
it's
match.
not common.
No
That's
doubt.
the thing. Yeah. Sagat versus Nikali. I think there's a lot to be said about what both of these players can do in neutral, right? Sagat being one of the best fireball characters in the game throughout the history of Street Fighter.
Sure.
Nikali can potentially counter that with the ways of V-Skill 1.
Yeah, I think that's right. And V-Skill 1 got buffed a little faster than it was before. So it's going to be maybe difficult for Sagat to deal with. I don't know, man. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that like I know how Sagat versus Nikali goes at high level. I'm going to be watching and learning, I'm sure, as many of the rest of you will. As far as Jano says, he says it's going to be a really tough matchup, but it's going to be fun. These are two players from Mexico City who presumably will know each other and have had experience against each other. For Choco, he says, and I like this from him, he says, I must concentrate and try to play as relaxed as possible because I have put a lot of pressure on myself in my past games. So somebody who has been in those, maybe as we saw earlier, scrambly situations, pressure-heavy situations, and hasn't liked the results for him and is trying specifically to settle himself down. Much easier said than done.
Yeah, I think at this moment in time, it's like, considering it is the one of the last times to enter into Capcom Cup, you still got to understand, like, all the work that you put into has brought you to this moment. You got to trust that, trust your instincts, trust the training, just go into it, give it your all. Right?
Yeah.
Exotic Smash Mouth, what a name. I love that from the name.
Yeah, we are seeing V-Skill 1 be a problem for Sagat. It's just coming up right under his underpants, It's not like it's coming straight forward at you. That's where it comes from, Jeremy. Stop looking at me like that.
I don't know what you're talking about. Literally. Jano now finding that opening. We were talking about it earlier. This is a big activation from Choco. That was so ambiguous.
Okay. I don't know if I'm familiar with that setup. That was cool.
Ooh.
That trigger 2 just going to be persisting and hanging around. A little bit too far for max range EX.
Yeah, that is trigger 2. That's right. Didn't even realize it. Oh, boy. What happens now?
A little bit too far. Jano looking for the activation on his own trigger 2. Again, you can see how hesitant he is to throw out his own tiger shots.
Oh, the dash up doesn't get checked, but it's very late tech.
Here comes
Jano
activation.
now. This is going to be tough.
Right.
It's
very difficult to check that character when he's in trigger.
One of the most ambiguous dashes coming in.
Super fast.
Doesn't help that the hair is flying everywhere. Oh boy, another one. How many command grabs has Choco landed so far? Again, not being able to contest the dash. I love that whiff punish from Jano.
Getting great damage out of it. Getting right to mid-screen. Oh, no. Well, set up there. Overhead. A little bit more. Can he get his own stun?
Look at how many medium punches are
Choco,
coming in.
he is so patient right now, though, knowing that he was not at range of grab at all during that time. Here he comes.
Oh, still not going to be enough. I don't know if Jano can potentially kill off of a single hit.
Yeah, it'd be close.
But I think Choco can.
That time the check did come.
No contention against Sagat.
Scary whiff. Choco backs off. He could be right back in at any moment, and Jano knows that he is not throwing a single tiger shot.
Oh boy, this is the range where Nikali gets to excel. You can't even throw a fireball.
No.
You're going to get traded off.
Exactly, because you know where that comes from. Oh. Is that into super? Is he there? No! Here he is, though. He's got another chance.
What is happening? Oh,
Didn't
no.
end up taking. Oh, no.
Not like this. Please.
Unfortunate how that worked out for Sagat.
Oh, man.
You could see how difficult it looks like for him to play neutral in the match.
Yeah.
There's just is the V-skill to worry about. There's jump into early fierce is hard for anybody to answer. You got to be really fast. Dash is hard for anybody to deal with there.
There were just so many instances, David.
But
there
were
were so many winning scenarios that Jano had. It wasn't like, Dr. Strange was only giving him one. There were just so many available options. And Choco back on it, taking full advantage of the unchecked dashes, now makes his way to get within range of the command grab of
his
excellent
first one he's thrown in like 30 seconds of gameplay. Oh, everything just went down there. Choco maybe kills here.
Spend it. Oh, doesn't even have to. Does this guidance, what is that, jab version, still able to take out the rest of the life bar? Match point, Choco.
Yeah, Jano even said in his quote, it's a really tough matchup. That was his view.
That was so ambiguous.
That
Still
was
knew where to
cool.
block.
Yeah. I mean, again, there's clearly familiarity here between the players. Here we go. First extended offense. He's got the corner, in fact. Is he going to be worried about, well, maybe not DP, but good enough for Choco to escape the corner. Oh, boy.
You're going to watch for that command.
Oh, boy.
You're going to watch for it.
Uh-oh.
Oh. It's got to come. Yeah, I was just waiting for it. Watch out for the command grab again. Okay, that could have been the stun.
Hey.
Excellent time to bust out that fierce. Gets the trigger full conversion, but more importantly, out of the corner.
He holds it. Is he hit, though? Yes. It's enough? Wow, Jano survives.
It's a different story if it were actually the unblockable. Choco actually got caught because of the activation. His activation got punished, so he does get the full damage.
Yeah, set up there. Oh, no!
Didn't believe in the counter hit. Really tough on the draw.
Oh, boy.
EX command grab, uppercut ender.
Just killing Jano.
Watch out for the grab. Oh, yeah, now he's setting up the layers of frame traps.
Yeah,
but the grab still comes. Uppercut! You know it.
Worried about uppercut from Jano. Here comes activation. And Choco's just out of there. Back to, by the way, a pretty comfortable looking spot for him as well, where V-Skill is still the threat.
Yeah, we see that trade-off. Choco can do that pretty much all day.
Hold
yeah, that's fine. Look at them. Yeah, not too much damage.
Not a lot, absolutely.
Uppercut. Oh, that trade combo could do. Yeah, it's
he needs more. EXDP comes out. Finally, Choco swings as he's on Wake Up. He had not done that before in the set. And he's going to take that 2-0. Again, you could really tell, again, both players, Mexico City, you could tell that there's a lot of familiarity there. But Choco's the one who ends up on top. Yeah, I do see what Jano was talking about in terms of the matchup. But at the same time, like you were saying, there were a bunch of jumps that weren't dealt with as maybe they could have been. There were dashes in that weren't quite dealt with. In fact, there were opportunities offensively for Jano as well where he didn't quite get maximum situations either. Unfortunately for him, that is going to be the end of the road. And I now realize that I should have highlighted this before. His very first match of the tournament was against Choco, and he lost.
No way.
Yeah.
That's...
So this was the run back for Jano, and he gets double elimed by Choco. Unfortunately.
It's one of those instances. Oh, I love this, by the way. It's one of those instances where, like, you know, you hate to go against the double jeopardy, but at the same time, it's like, well, I know exactly what to expect, but I just think, you know, Jano was a little shook in regards to what had probably happened prior, because again, you see another swift 2-0, and you can see a lot of like comfort in the way that Choco had dashed up so many times in game number 1. Even throughout game number 2, he was still finding those spots to dash up in Jano's face without any sort of contention. That is something from the familiarity of the first encounter. That had to be like spoken from the familiarity of the first encounter that they've had. But it's going to be how it plays out. Choco now is going to be facing off against Orangu in round 2 of losers. Before that, we have Vicaron versus Yazdero. That's going to be potentially Luke or Urian going up against Akira. And I'm very excited to see this, by the way. Yazdero is a name that we've seen a good amount of times in the realm of CPT for Latin America in general. This Akira has been sharpened up for this very moment. I'm really excited to see how this is going to play out against Vicaron. Vicaron's Urian also a problem.
Yeah, 2 players who had some similar results last year. Vicaron, 9th place at Central America West #1. So was Yazdero. They both got 9th place there. Yazdero also got 9th at Central America West #2. However, Vicaron got 2nd place at that event. Anyway, let's hear what Yazdero has to say. See, he's got the Akira there.
Yes. Absolutely, she is.
Akira's going to get away with it?
She's going to get away with it.
Going to get away with it? He also says in his fact about himself, I always main mix-up characters, heavy mix-up characters.
I don't think...
Is that right?
I don't know, actually. I'm going to have to take a look at the history. I feel like Akira wasn't really, like, the main tool for him over the years, but, I mean, like, starting to find that familiarity with her. And, more importantly, I think with Akira, I want to know which trigger is going to be used. I don't know if it's going to be the Daigo one, because if he is a mix-up heavy person, Daigo would have to be like the choice.
That's, I mean, for sure, great mix-ups there. But with the other trigger nowadays, I feel like there's much, it's basically a new trigger this season, right, compared to last season. And there are so many more opportunities to confirm with it, to play tricks with it, to get plus frames and situations.
A lot of plus frames, yeah.
So I like that a lot. We're going to see Akira, as we expected, versus Luke out of Vicaron.
I think it's the first Luke we've seen thus far, right? There was potential for another one No, actually, yeah.
Yeah,
It could have been in the
first
loser
one.
set from Seoul, but that was going to be Seth. But this is our first Luke appearance.
Hikaron also says, Hasdero is a really good player, but no matter who it is, I'm going to win. I don't know about this matchup, though. Luke's got so many strengths, right? But one of the things is that his buttons aren't quite as rangy as some others. And in this match, Akira's buttons are going to be more than outranging.
Yeah. I think Akira is going to have a better time counterpoking. I think Luke, again, most of his normals push him out so far.
Yeah.
It's very deceptive because we're not used to it yet. But Akira has more than enough tools to deal with that.
Okay, so the bro comes out.
Again, the mix-ups, I think it's more important to think about like the high-low mix-ups, the left-right mix-ups with this particular V-trigger. V-trigger 2 leads to like what, plus frame scenarios for sure, but
Yeah,
I
no,
think
you're right.
The left-right mix-ups a little bit more daunting.
Yeah, I'm with you. Hikaron trying to make something happen, backing off to a range where he can control, but he does need to deal more damage.
That's the range where she could actually park and wait for a fireball to come out to roundhouse uppercut through. But I don't know if that's going to be the way it closes out. Yasuhiro still moving within a range to probably whiff punish a fierce. Maybe a medium punch.
Almost on super. Gosh, yeah.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah.
But that normal. Again, you have to use this sparingly. Although
Sure.
it is like great in range, highly punishable.
Minus. Yeah, max range there. Okay, here we go. We got on with the whiff punish.
Ooh. Am I mixing roundhouse frames with heavy punch frames?
Oh,
I'm gonna look
they're
at you
both
later.
minus.
They take that knockdown. Then what? Oh! Just raw? Just raw heavy punch target combo? You can get
He
stunned.
gets stunned. I'm not sure if he wants
But
that.
the scaling
Looks like
is
he's going
off.
for it. Are you going to just party all the way up there? Yeah.
Is there going to be enough damage to get the minimum damage scaling off the critical eye for the kill?
It's hilarious to watch. Yeah, he's going to spend it? I don't know,
But
man.
it's not gonna. That's definitely not gonna.
Right. Right? Yeah, okay.
Okay, I don't like the way you asked that question towards the end.
Oh, boy. Well, anyway, it works out for Hasdero after that.
That would have been really messed up if it did kill.
It would have been.
No shot. There's no shot. That was a 50-hit combo. That was a versus series combo.
Yeah.
There's no way that was gonna kill.
She is cool to watch. I will say that. Like, you know, when somebody has all the execution down for her in terms of how the juggles work, it is pretty cool.
Yeah, no. A certain McGillicuddy likes to show off a lot of the Akira setups and combos. I love watching that. But for the most part, again, you know, having the corner carry for that combo is so important. Right? Just being able to light your way through into the corner is
Sure.
something that she kind of really needs, to be honest. And I love it's a mechanic from Rival Schools. I think that's super cool, just
it's
in and
great.
of itself.
They definitely nailed it. But in neutral, it's been tough too. You know, I mean, it's just been at a range where even with Luke, some of his buttons are not in range to counterpoke. Yeah, exactly like this.
Ooh. Yeah, you're not kidding. You can see, man, Yasuhiro again firing away on all cylinders with the heavy punches to either get like a counterpoke. Boy, that could have led to big damage.
Wow. Punish.
Forward throw. What's the option? It's so far! Here comes Daigo. If he still one, oh sorry, if he still two, I should say.
Wow.
Yes, sir. Do it again. Just do it.
Partying up there. I love how that looks. Oh. Expecting cross up, and instead it was from the front. Hasdero, match point.
It catches most people more often than not when it comes to like that kind of setup or that kind of mix-up.
Sure, you see the character go into the sky. You're just natural to expect from the other side.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that instance through ways of like Rashid, instant air, eagle spike.
Sure,
right?
yeah.
Same kind of deal. Man, and it's so potent when you have Daigo coming in as well. When you do that kind of mix-up, it's kind of nuts. But Hikaron had an opportunity, 2 dashes up, was expecting maybe an uppercut, got back to it instead. This is going to be tough.
Hey, here we go.
That's what I was waiting to see. Forward heavy punch as a counter poking tool against Yasuhiro.
Bro's ready to come out. Here he comes.
Ooh.
I don't know. Yeah.
We literally just talked about this. How do you block?
And
Wait.
now Super's there?
You're dead. You're
Is
actually
there
dead.
going to be a stun before that? Come on, no!
Not like this. Does he even need it though? Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
The harassment.
You know
And the
somebody
low
feels
medium.
confident at ending a round when you start seeing those light kicks come out.
Oh yeah.
It's just like a tell, like how confident you are. Certainly there could have been counter pokes there, but hey, Hasdero had exactly the right call.
if you got clipped with a crouching medium punch counter hit against Luke in that state, you would have died. You definitely would have died. So again, the confidence definitely there. There was just so many more games that Yazero could have played had he fallen short, but didn't really care. Just wanted to move on with it. That's exactly what he's doing. We see again, just going through the V-skill. You really like that one, huh?
It's just funny to watch.
It is. It's pretty enjoyable, though. I love seeing Akira in the spotlight a lot more nowadays.
Yeah, she's
and
good.
seeing these more often than not, I think, it says a lot about how the balance has been for this character. Then you have Luke, on the other hand, again, has been a favorite amongst a lot of the top players, having pretty much that full set, like the full Street Fighter set that you would need to succeed, right? You have a fireball, uppercut,
Sure.
amazing normals, the amazing math behind the normals.
Yep.
It feels great, but you have to navigate that character well.
So we're going to now move to our round 2 of losers. And starting off, we're going to have Rosic versus Soul VNG. So for Soul, having made it past Maximoff, looking pretty strong in doing so. I really liked seeing that. Hagen took down Rosic, right? That's who sent Rosic down to the loser side. That also was a 2-0. So we have two players coming off of the 2-0s just from pretty opposite sides.
Mm-hmm. And you're seeing the way that Rosic had played prior in his winner's run against Hagen. Kind of got neutralized in the offensive department. I think Soul pretty much lives in that department as well. Like, you had the manager with Lucia. Now you get pretty much like the associate manager with Seth. I feel like that character can be just as offensive, right? The counter pokes can be just as strong. May not be like as movement heavy, but I think the air approach is going to be more than enough to kind of reconsider your approach on defense or even offense, right? There's just so much that Seth can do in terms of counter poking and changing up the trajectory. I really want to know what Rosic is going to have in store for another offensive archetype.
Yeah, as Dictator, of course, you have many strengths, but anti-air is not one of them. And so
not anymore after crouching heavy punch or crouching
the crouching jab, yeah. I mean, he has tools, right? So you typically see people just go to the sky for air-to-air or something, early crouching fierce. But, not one of his strengths. And for Seth, there is this great approach. You can do early axe kick. You can do later axe kick. You can just do a jump in, or you can stay on the ground. And that kind of stuff is going to be tough to deal with. At the same time, Dictator has such fantastic pressure and is able to do so much damage, and Seth just can't really survive that kind of stuff. So it could be a fast one on that side.
Yeah, you're taking a look at what Seth may have on defense, right? Frame normal,
sure.
uppercut.
I mean,
still a couple of risks, though.
All the tools,
yeah,
just not the life.
What's funny is I think about Seth, I always kind of think that they have the worst health in the game just because I'm inclined to believe it, considering the previous iteration. But even so, thinking about the defensive options, Bison could easily blow that up, right?
Sure.
Frame trap monster, by the way. When you talk about the math, this character also has it when it comes to the medium buttons that he has, specifically medium punch. But one of the biggest things that move him forward, Psycho Axe. That
for sure.
is a killer. That is a button killer.
So we just saw jump back jab. Again, that air-to-air is really important for Bison. There, it is super important to see the interruption. Medium into heavy spin kick plus on block if you block, but you don't need to. You can interrupt. And so I love that he went right back to it just to test. Are you really going to do this consistently?
He's going to try to get away with it. You can't keep getting away with it. Just got
away with it. That's it. Rosic's still doing okay. Look at that gray life, by the way. Soul trying to just wait it out.
That really hampered the approach from Soul. To be honest with you, that's the most I've seen him sit back and chill.
I think it just got caught on the dash. I don't think that was afterward. Okay. Again, the gray life is killer.
You could have switched sides. You could have spent the trigger to switch sides. That is so sick. Press it. Yes.
Very good. Very good.
I love that conversion. That's so smart, too. Yeah, nobody ever expects it. That wasn't even a punish, right? I mean, like...
Oh, he touched the fireball.
Yes.
And that is one of the ways you can activate into the follow-ups on that trigger.
And that's not safe, by the way.
You just got to know. Yeah. You just got to be the best.
That's all it takes.
You just got to do the best.
No
That's
problem.
Easy.
No problem at all. Checking with the low medium kicks a lot. Soul is looking to kind of spend the critical, I feel like, off of that low medium kick, if he can get it. But Rosic, I think, knows. I think he has that information down pat. No anti-air is available. It's so difficult to. You can't do it against Seth as much. No interruption again. Ran into the Hekatonkeries. Forward throw now.
He is occasionally doing the lighter version, so it's not like he's always doing roundhouse. But man, he is oftentimes doing roundhouse. And this is a character in Dictator who's got solutions.
A little bit of an awkward exchange there. Rasa.
Yeah. That's happened twice now where we've seen stand medium kick and it's been punished by sweep, which is fantastic if that actually is a whip punish.
Oh. Doing a bit of a test.
Combo it!
Into that.
Yikes.
I wonder if we get a Psycho Axe off of that. I think there was like a little bit more.
Follow up, there it is.
That's not too bad. The more hits he takes, the stronger he will be. PNG, excuse me. Word?
What? You tried to steal the biggest turn?
You saw a misstep there. There was an axe kick earlier.
Look at the time now. 16 on the clock, 15 on the clock. Soul's in trouble. He's got a ton of resources, but he's got to make it happen now.
Oh, he's just chilling. Rosic knows it too. He's just going to sit there and block. Take another throw.
Yeah, can
Don't
he do
quick
that?
rise. Oh, good block. 2-1. It's over.
Yeah, okay. Whew. Barely survives, but that's fine.
I didn't realize we're using one of the Street Fighter League stages for Japan. The Taiyo Holdings. Nice work. Forward fears. Get the corner carry. The V shift out of there. Getting out of the potential mix that Soul wanted to put him in. Rosic now trying to get back into mid-screen slowly but surely. We saw the counter poke attempt from medium punch, or medium kick, I should say.
Oh, what a catch. Soul's going to be able to almost build it.
No check on the dash. Rosic gets away scot-free. Activation off of the sweep. Very common. Whew. How many turns has he stolen?
Yeah.
He got blown up once.
Yeah.
By the way.
But that was like the second interaction. Oh, escape! And directly into super. Oh, man.
You're dead.
I think so.
You don't even need like the V-trigger extra damage. Tendon engine, you know it. Off of 2 hits, you definitely know it. Soul VNG up 1 game against Rosic. A little bit of a slow start, I feel like, for Rosic in general, right? He hasn't really had moments where he's shown off what he can do. There was only one instance where he racked up a ton of Grey Life, which is like one of the biggest things that Bison can do successfully, is rack up all that damage via ways of blocking and get that kind of advantage over in the corner as well. But that hasn't really stopped Soul from doing what he wants to do.
That said, I don't feel like Rosic is too far away from making this happen. If you were to challenge Button into Roundhouse Tatsu a little bit more often, I feel like he'd have blown up a lot of the plus strength situations that have ended up in him taking a lot of damage while dealing a lot of damage versus Seth.
I keep forgetting about that. That instance where there's so many moments where it's like, no, you have your time.
Yeah, he has.
It's true.
Oh, big stolen turn. Love
Well,
it.
now he's giving Soul a taste of his own
He's
medicine,
moving.
right?
Oh, wow, okay. Tippy tip of the crouching strong.
Want to make sure everything was okay. Rosic now with life lead. And this is where Soul gets to slow down again, or is forced to slow down again, but still moving forward. Man, that could have been a big punish.
Yeah, way too far away. For the grab. Look, that said, Rosic in control in terms of life.
Ooh. How many times has that happened? I think there's been so many instances where Soul has been called out for jumping against the fireball. And that's a classic strategy, too, with Bison having to do, like, you know, the stomps to counter any sort of jumps. You just got to react to it. Huh. Word.
Follow up, surely, yes. Wow, a trade? Interesting.
We'll take that.
I don't know what button he pressed. I'd love to know.
So that was standing medium kick against
medium,
the spin
okay.
kick.
Okay, yeah.
So within range.
So Rosic with the round. And again, I didn't feel like there was that much of a barrier between him and taking the W here. Soul VNG didn't really do medium into Roundhouse Tatsu. In fact, when he was up close, he did... Okay, nice. Yeah, right, he did...
Oh,
that was the medium one! Let's go. He's blowing it up now.
Was it the medium one? Oh,
it wasn't Roundhouse.
I didn't get to see the way he spun. Oh, boy. It's Mad Cradle. In hot pursuit, that's going to be just fine for Rosic. He does have enough life to get himself another V-trigger regardless. But the stun was the biggest factor. Yeah, sit him down. Heavy normals. Chip away. Look at the Grey Life adding up. Keep him contained. What happens now? Ooh, that could have been some
Hoping for offensive knockdown V-Rev. Look at this pressure. Yes.
He had to do it. That's the second time Soul had to spend a V-reversal in that situation.
Oh!
That is ginormous. Enough! It's more than enough, I think. Either way, last hit. Now it's going to be last round potentially. Soul being on match point.
Soul did make the change of pressuring differently with crouching strong, then not roundhouse Tatsu. Like his offense did look different last time.
What a call out.
There have been so few EX scissors at that range. That might have been the first.
I think you're right. I don't recall seeing any of that before.
Yeah.
Oh, and we haven't seen that either.
No.
Another jump out. Big reset. And benefit for Soul, though. Immediate enough. Now the V reversal comes out, which is totally fine. Just resetting the situation. Big counter hit conversion. And I love, man, the choice of V skill 2 brings you to the corner so fast. And more consistently. Oh, you could Soul EX uppercut after that. Didn't matter. Soul VNG, being the rush down fiend that he is, takes it against Rasek. Rasek falling short to another similar archetype.
So, yeah, I mean, the changes that Rasek made in that round where he did win were just adapted to almost instantly by Soul VNG. Different pressure right away, different spots right away, V reversaling out of Rasek's offense right away. Just very, very quick at making the changes that he needed to make. Shout outs to Soul VNG. Moving on.
Yeah, again, there was an instance where we were talking about how often the roundhouse spin kick wasn't being punished. There was a moment where Rasek actually tried to, just a little bit too late, and it sucks that it happened towards the end of his run. I would have loved to see that being in contention a little bit more, but that's just how the cookie crumbles, man. If you haven't been able to do it prior, like testing it out, like you have to try it out a couple of times, just a little bit earlier.
It also doesn't need to be crouching strong, right? This is a character with a free frame. That light kick could have come out instead.
Yeah, that's going to be a counter hit too, so you still get those conversions either way. But a little bit too late for the pressure. Soul VNG making it into top 8. Our first candidate from the loser side. Moving on with Chontekos versus Uriel Velorio, but that's not going to be happening just yet. Man, there's a lot of 2-0s here.
That's true. Wow, yeah, this loser side is absolutely full of them. Funny, on winner's side, we had some of my favorite matches in recent time. I really, really loved the Gamma one, for example. But in any case, we'll get to the rest of these in just a little bit. We'll get there soon. Let's first talk about how soon the Capcom authorized mobile game Street Fighter Duel will be available. Now, if you're in China, that soon has already happened. It was soon in the past. It's already available there. The global version is what is coming soon. The epic legend will soon be reborn on mobile, and download Street Fighter Duel now if you're in China, soon everywhere else. Let's fight for each other and join the journey with millions of players to become the best fighter.
I need it sooner rather than later, David. That is for sure. I need it sooner rather than later. Same thing with one of the CPT tracksuits that is currently available. You know, Orangu flexed one of the colors. It's the same outfit that Luke actually has with that specific color scheme. Well, we get that coming your way. The event's winning character will unlock the following Tuesday. So it's time to root for the players representing your favorite character to get these costumes for free. We're getting closer and closer to seeing all the players get into the Capcom Cup, right? We've talked about the people that have been competing throughout each and every one of these CPTs, but we do also want to highlight those that have been qualified for the Capcom Cup already throughout the event, throughout the year, actually. And they've actually unlocked a lot of colors for you all. Speaking of, Travis Styles doing so with Balrog. So all the Balrog fans, be sure to hit him up on social media and say thank you for the extra colors.
Yeah, we've already also seen, in order, Luke, Falk, Dalsim, Jury, Cody, Bison, Birdie, I guess we're going with from NRD, and Kawano, of course, having won Evo, qualifies as well with Colleen. And as you said just recently, Boxer for Travis Styles. So there's any number of characters that we could still see in this thing. Well, again, we'll get to that tomorrow and find out who actually gets these colors unlocked for y'all.
Yeah, again, we still have so many more to go through, right? A couple more losers games, if I'm not mistaken, but these have been going pretty quickly. I wish we could slow it down just a little bit in terms of the matches, but not via break. Unfortunately, this is how it breaks down. We'll see you in just a little bit when we continue with the Central America West region here for the CPT after this break.
The number is 5. 5 players have already qualified for the top 8 tomorrow here in the top 16. We know that on the winner's side, we already got the top 4. In the loser's side, we've got one of them. But we have 3 left to figure out. Welcome back to the last games block of CPT Central America West.
Yeah, as we can see from, actually, you don't even need to see the bracket. We can tell you straight up. There's been a ton of 2-0s throughout the entirety of today for our top 16, right? 2 of the familiar faces, 2 of the favorites, we should say, that were highlighted from the pregame topics with Brian F. as well as Rob TV in No Neutral. They happen to be on the winner's side, right? The biggest story here right now is seeing who's going to survive the onslaught, who's going to get 2-0'd next, I feel like, in the bracket for the loser side. Now, let's take a look, given plenty of time to prep. Chontekas versus Uriel Velorio. That's going to be pretty explosive, considering what had happened prior with Chontekas against Gamma and the way that he was trying to counterpoke his way to victory as Abigail. Uriel, on the other hand, as explosive as he is with that Ken, there might be a significant stop sign with Officer Abigail waiting in pretty much in the rafters.
Yeah, of course, Chontekas comes at this having, as you said, lost to Gamma, but that, man, was such a close match. Very, very close match. And you can definitely tell the strength on Chontekas' side. Uriel Velorio, I mean, he, as we saw before, and we know, is a strong player, but man, his movement was just very, very difficult for his opponent to deal with. That was tough, really, for Fulgor. And for Chontekas, what I think is tough for Abigail to deal with oftentimes is movement like that.
Yeah.
Is knowing where the opponent's going to be. You got all these great buttons, but they all have a lot of lag. You got to be real fast on the draw if you're going to anti-air credibly. And if you're not sure where the opponent is going to be, those are difficult things to do.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that specifically with Abigail. It's like it's very hard to tell what the opponent's going to do, so he has to rely on a lot of read-based decisions, right? So that's going to be the thing. Chontekas had a phenomenal time, although losing, going into losers against Gamma. Throughout the entirety of the match, he was calling out every airborne approach. He was calling out certain normals on the ground. I want to know if he has those same kind of reads against someone as explosive and unpredictable as Uriel.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be about here. One of them makes top 8 in loser's side, and we will see them tomorrow.
There's no chance he's getting dashed on again. With the way he fell in winner's side, there's no chance he's getting dashed on again.
We'll
All right.
see.
Well, we've talked about one of the biggest openers that Ken may have in the air, and that's the jump heavy punch onto the other side because of the fact that it pretty much reduces his jump arc a significant amount. There is a big hitbox coming your way, especially if you're Abigail. And look at that, Uriel, super explosive. Watch out for the overhead. I love the plus frames instead.
Oh, boy. No. He triggered 1, by the way. Interesting to go with that. As he's dashing in, he gets got. So you saw the important tech versus Abigail. Many characters have this, but Ken is one in particular. You mentioned that jump fierce. Very difficult to deal with. You see how early he tried to press the button there as the anti-air, and it just didn't work.
You're literally pushing that button at the peak of your jump.
Right.
That makes it so much harder to contest. Uriel, you may as well call him a dive kick character or a dive punch character, if you will.
He's got an actual dive kick too that he did as well, by the way. As this is going to be Uriel taking game number 1 as just an absolute buzzsaw. We almost never saw anything from Chontekas. It was all about whether he could anti-air. That was the entire game.
Yeah.
The question was asked again and again and again, half a dozen times. Each time it was no. And that's not really a reflection on Chontekas not being good. We saw how strong he is. You have to be so quick on the draw. You have to have your different options. You have to sometimes use parry. I guess we didn't see parry. But, of course, if you do that, that could be an FD jump into you getting crushed. So that is a big risk to take as well.
Yeah,
there it is. Sometimes that actually doesn't even happen very often. Usually the chest finds the other direction. But there it did not.
I was literally just about to talk about that. If you happen to get him on an early activated fierce, his body doesn't turn around from certain angles. I know I've talked about this earlier with Chontekas. You have to be pretty read-based, but what happens when the other person doesn't even want to read? Like you can't read this person at all. He wants to play games. It's so explosive. It's so explosive. This is like the slowest we've seen this match so far.
Man,
but it's not gonna be for long.
Jump. Here it is, very early enough to get juggle. In fact.
Oh, trade off again. Oh, I thought it could be within range. You tried to double dash.
There is super hit. He just built it. So here it comes. Going to get full resources on the other side. And again, not in command grab range. So you got to pester low. Yeah, just escape from Uriel. He knows he can get back in. But that's how he feels anyway. Question is whether he'll be able to.
Oh, you know it. You love seeing it.
Come on.
Roll forward into critical art. That is a classic. That is a classic. Uriel reacted to the parry, and I love that. That was such a dangerous thing for Chontekas to try to utilize. It's like, most players get counterpoked by this armor. Not the case when you have critical art on deck.
All right, finally, knockdown comes. Uriel backs off and just kind of resets it. Yes, okay, important to see shutting down the dash.
Reverse. Yes! Oh, boy. No buttons pressed here. Uriel, again, a lot with the movement. Not so much on button presses, which is great. Fantastic on defense. Ooh.
Hey. Chontekas.
Ooh.
Can he punish him? I'm not sure.
Oh,
Wow.
the punish on the flex?
He was hoping to see a run in earlier than that.
And there's
so
so
strong.
much time. Yeah, there's so much time to get covered. Oh.
That actually worked out for Chontekas because the early jump hit. That's wild.
Oh, you still get the punish? Watch out for the jump fierce.
Oh, man, that is a really tough match for Chontekas to go out in.
Holy.
This is a guy who was a round away from making top 8 winners side. Lost to MJ Gama and then lost to Uriel Velorio. And in a matchup that is just very difficult to settle down. What Chontekas would want is to settle down, to anti-air, to deal damage there, to control with his big buttons, to pressure up close. And those just almost never came up as Uriel had approach after approach on ground and in air, and it was clearly very difficult for Chontekas to deal with.
It's so interesting seeing how this played out because on paper, I feel like Abigail doesn't have too much of a bad time against Ken, but this is easily a player situation. It came down to who's got the better movement and who's got the right reads, and honestly, the reactions were super important. Uriel got away with a lot of dashes, a lot of V-skill ones. They got checked a little bit, a couple of times.
Sometimes,
but
yeah.
it didn't lead to anything super significant. A couple of touches here and there. It didn't stop him from getting that game plan going.
No.
But one of the biggest factors was the jump in.
Jump in
The
fierce, yeah.
jump in from
Characters
the
who
first
have
game.
that jump in earlier fierce, Ken, Nakali, like that is really tough. Really tough for not just Abigail to deal with, but Abigail in particular, because his face is at that height. It is already here, right? Like other characters, if you're small, can't do jump early instant fierce because it's just you're not going to be there.
No.
But that's where Abigail's face is, and that's a tough spot for him to be. Yeah, I was really impressed at the reactions that Uriel had too, the hit confirms. The fact that he was able to hit confirm through the armor in Stand Fierce
Super
is
smart.
impressive because a lot of players will look to the stun bar as their way to hit confirm, right? If you see the stun go up, okay, that means that the move is connected. That doesn't happen for armor, and so you have to be looking instead just at whether you see armor
That's a
happen
visual
or
cue.
not. Yeah, exactly, and that is a little tougher to do for some people. So shout outs to Uriel for making that happen.
Now he's going to face off against Soul VMG, the Seth player. I want to see how that plays out. That's going to be tomorrow. That is our top 8, obviously. But man, the counter pokes that Soul has, the ambiguous approaches that Uriel has, that's how I want to say it. It's going to be pretty explosive.
Yeah.
Already off to a pretty stacked loser side going into it. But Orangu and Chokali, or Choco, I should say, is what we would expect next for the loser side. Orangu pretty much taken down by Totokai using that Alex. We didn't get to see him shine as much. I would love to check out like his CFN run or his run into top 16 via CFN with his Alex. I wanted to see what he actually had in store for the rest of the opposition and how he even got to the winner's side. We didn't get to see him play as much, I feel like. But Choco, on the other hand, a very dominant start in his run and loser side.
Yeah, when we saw him play again, it was against somebody who he had already beaten in the tournament in J-No, which is, well, bummer for his opponent, but great for Choco that that's somebody who you can already feel pretty confident about. And the way that he handled it was, again, somebody who was obviously very confident in that match and against that person. So in this one versus Orangu, Orangu's run as Alex, you're right, it's not something that we really saw too much of. But I do feel that Alex has a lot more to say versus Nakali than Sagata. So you could see that that was a tough matchup. But for Alex, his buttons can attack at ranges that are, I think, difficult for Nakali to deal with. He can be in the sky in some spots. He doesn't need to sit there and throw projectiles like Sagat does, right? He's moving around a lot more.
Yeah.
And up close, he's such a threat,
Yeah.
He has armor to get through stuff if he wants to take a risk, and we did see already that this Alex player likes to do that.
Yeah. There's a lot that Alex can do in the neutral, right? I think he has some of the strongest medium punch buttons in the game, albeit it's not cancelable, but it can lead to a lot.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of like the further reaching, like crouching medium punches, standing medium kicks, crouching medium kicks, cancelable in V-trigger, but man, those buttons are such nuanced, big nuisances in neutral.
Absolutely agree. Yeah. We've already seen that come into play.
Oh boy.
Boy, remember how many command grabs we saw from before? Lost track of that versus J-No.
Oh,
spacing trap with overhead is pretty sick.
Yeah, setting yourself up for the whiff punish. Super strong for Choco to do. But we talked about those ranges, man. One solid boot to the grill of Nakali can lead to a lot of damage. And he's fishing for it.
Oh,
You see
yeah.
it.
Beautiful.
Great coverage.
Hey.
And again, yeah, nice and simple from the side of Choco. Forcing that fear into Orangu, making him press that tech. Not going to fly here. Round 1. Already in benefit of Necalli and Choco. Again, big counter hit. We're seeing the reversal from the side of Orangu. I don't know what button it could have been.
Yeah.
But he got punished.
Oh, he's in big trouble. Oh, man, what a specific call out.
So, I'll explain why.
Is this super? No,
Not
not quite, not quite. Even activating is scary now. Oh, no. You can get chipped out. Or just red.
God.
Just straight up red, maybe.
So that air knee smash, or air knee stampede, AKS, whatever. I think that was a blatant call out to Necalli's instant jump jab.
Right, okay.
For the overhead.
Okay.
So I think that's what he was anticipating. Quite the read to make. I mean, I could get it. Like if somebody's hungry for that perfect, that could have went all downhill if he called it right.
If that had worked, it would have been like the greatest read.
Yeah. It
would have been sick.
It still makes sense, you know.
Yeah.
There's only certain scenarios that come out when you're near perfect.
Yeah,
and that
right.
could have been one of them. I would have put my bet on that. He looks like Conan the Barbarian in this outfit. That's super sick, by the way. I have not seen anybody take off the Leo mask before.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I don't know if I have either.
It's the hair. But I'm not just saying that. But yeah, it does look really cool. Oh boy. Big counter hit blind.
Here's Choco again with the command grabs. This mix has been fantastic up close.
So good. Good interruption, but is it enough to get out of the corner? It is. We'll take that little by little.
I do feel like at that range, there should be some control for Alex, and yet we've seen, I would say, Orangu feel uncomfortable there. Yeah, he's been swinging buttons, he's been swinging roundhouses there, and that's just been getting blown up.
It just hasn't been enough of a presence from Orangu. I don't want to see him go 0-2 from his side of winners. I want to see a little bit more, and I don't mean 0-2 within the set, but 0-2 in tournament. I need to see a couple more things from this man. Show us why you made it into the winner's side.
He was somebody who did not make the top 32 in either of the last CPTs. Here he is, trying to make the top 8. Yes, plus again. Okay, Choco explodes. Ah, man.
I don't know what else you could have done, right? Crossing jabs.
You can walk forward. You have a lot of time.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh, max range on the fierce. Choco knows his character.
Trying to get a beat out. Oh, stun gun headbutt.
Does he have this? No, he didn't. He didn't.
Ooh.
Hey, let's go!
That's what I like to see. Orangu finally on the board, it feels like. I don't even recall the last time he got a round, but that was a very important one. Getting the parry into the trigger. We need to see a lot more. That's what I'm talking about, utilizing that armor and getting a V-skill activation.
Yeah, he definitely looks more comfortable in this range right here than we've seen him before, and that's so important to be good there. Yes, he moves in. Light from Choco to start.
Back throw, unfortunate for Choco. Great for Orangu. Trying to get a dash in. The check is there, but speaking of dashes, Choco finds his way in, does get the command grab. In hot pursuit, the lariat. Big stop sign.
Ooh. Okay, Choco out of there. He's got his activation point, yes. Ooh, maybe tried to parry. Oh, he tries it out. Yo, my God, you pressed it?
Oh, my lordy.
Oh, you wake up. Okay, I understand. I understand. That was another one of the world's biggest reads, just in the same way as the end of the first game. He has super, and so he's expecting for Choco to expect wake up super and to block. But what beats blocking? Wake up command grab, baby. So it is the world's biggest read. Didn't work out here, unfortunately, for Orangu. Choco moves on.
We started to see a little bit of adaptation from Orangu.
Yeah,
I was getting excited for him, but Choco changing it up as well. Big counter hits that kind of led into that corner situation, and Choco taking it down 2-0 yet again. On the way up, to be fair, that's been the story for the entirety of Losers Bracket. I mean, I'm no mathematician, but that's a lot of zeros, a lot of twos. We're going to see if that happens again with MX Gus and Hasdero.
Hasdero comes in here having made 9th place twice last year in the CPTs.
Ugh.
Yeah, that was close to making the top 8s. MX Gus comes in here having made 9th in Central America West #2. We got 2 guys who ended up just outside of the top 8.
No.
Multiple times.
And guess what? It's just about to happen.
One of them is going to happen again. Absolutely. It's these 2 guys. I love the ages that we're seeing up on the
That's what I'm
screen
talking
here.
about.
Still playing, still doing well. By the way, earlier we had 40 as well. Shout outs to everybody still playing around. And at the same time, shout outs to all the new players, younger players too. We have all the way down to 21 in this tournament. Just a great age range. Good thing to see.
Yeah, a little side note. You're never too old to pick up a fighting game.
Absolutely.
I will tell you that right now. There's so many other players within this age range and higher that have made it into the grand stage. Sakonoko, Daigo, those two being the two prime examples. Again, we literally saw Daigo in top 8. But that's not the story here. It is, again, age doesn't matter in the fighting game community.
I'm with you. I'm absolutely with you, yeah. We have not reached that point yet where somebody is too old to be really good at a fighting game. And nobody knows what that range is because nobody is older than Sako who has grown up playing fighting games. It just doesn't exist yet. So anyway, sometime in the distant future, we'll find out what that limit is, but we don't know that now. We're going to move in, and we're going to see Colleen come out again, and this time we're going to see Luke.
I would love to see like Sakonoko play off against like maybe this kid.
It's going to happen. It's probably already happened, dude. I don't know.
That'd be
maybe not in tournament, but I'm sure
in tournament. That'd be hype.
That would be sick.
I'm about to eliminate you, and I get to take you back home.
That will absolutely happen at some point, I'm sure.
That drive back home is gonna be so awkward. Like, remember when I frame trapped the hell out of you? Like that sucks. Remember that time at Evo? It was rough. So again, Hasdero rocking it out with a Luke.
Yeah.
This time instead of Akira, our second Luke appearance for the day.
So it's now triggered 2 V-Skill 1 loadout for Gus. Remember, we had the opposite before.
Not too bad.
Wow,
interesting.
Oh, big chance!
Yeah, that's not gonna fly. That is indeed a frame trap with Icicle. Activation point. Checking the movement instead. Huh! So Hasdero actually got his crouching medium kick blocked. But Gus decided to press a button afterwards.
Yeah, just made the read that there would be an attempted hit confirm, I guess.
I don't know, like, because there's other things that Luke could cancel into, like off of that low medium kick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's gonna be a frame trap regardless. Interesting. Either way.
Ooh, there we go.
I like that interruption against the flash knuckle. That neutral jump could have been heavy.
Yeah.
Could have been huge against the vanity step. Big punish. Oh, decent sized punish. Put it in the to-go box. Ooh. All the way out.
Oh. Press buttons anyway. Here's Hasdero. He is absolutely trying to find the button. Instead, it's grab, and now he's got the corner. Activates. He still is turn.
What a read!
Jeez.
That was very Kawano-esque, by the way. Making those decisions to backdash away from a throw in the corner. Super risky if you're playing against Luke, because that could have been heavy damage if punished properly. And I gotta say, shout outs to anybody playing Luke online, man. Getting those frame perfect flash knuckles, no easy feat. You need that for a lot of consistent damage.
Yeah, you need the hit confirms too, which is also not that easy to do.
Go with punish. Which is fine. That wasn't even too bad for Hasdero, just a little bit of a scramble. Ooh.
Slowly moving backwards. Yeah, and again, at almost exactly the same spot on screen, Hasdero the dash forward and the grab twice in 2 rounds. So it's his turn now. The pressure.
Oh boy.
Did she link there? Wow. Shout out to Fierce. V-Trigger 2 Fierce.
All the homies love Fierce, especially if you're Colleen player. Oop. Thermal barrier.
Taking the life lead, but also giving up super.
Just getting rid of the trigger too. What a snipe!
Yeah. Gus now needs to find something on his way in. Instead, Hasdero yet again finding the grab. He really did a great job at sensing when MX Gus was not going to press buttons. It wasn't like there were many times when Gus and Hasdero were not pressing buttons in neutral. They were very active there. But in a few specific situations, Hasdero guessed that Gus was not going to be pressing buttons, and he was right with the dash and the grab each time.
There's a lot of those moments where it's like, man, this could lead to kill. It's always in those specific scenarios where some of these players get caught slipping. Also, quick shout out to Alex Lay, the voice actor for Luke. Had the privilege of meeting him over at Evo. Super cool guy, by the way, and I still can't believe he is this character here and in 6. It's super dope. I got to talk to him about it. He's like,
pretty sick.
I still can't believe I got to do this. I'm like, dude, it's from SoCal too.
Oh, that's cool.
Pretty cool.
Let's go.
Super cool. All right, speaking of super cool, now it's going to be all Colleen. MX Gus.
Just jumping out of there.
We'll take that.
Right. Rather than grab this time. So mixing it up well, Sostero. Now onto the grab, but was too far. Gus is here.
Oh, so scary! Still the counter poke there for MX Gus. One more touch. That neutral jump could have been catastrophic. MX Gus got run into it. Either way, the back throw now, Hasdero could turn it around. It's Luke. I take it all back with a little bit of meter being built up from the side of MX Gus. Gets the back throw, gets the first round in game 2.
If Gus could find more of those moments where, where he knows that the opponent's not going to be pressing buttons, this is punish. Yeah. It would be great if he could find more grabs like that, but so far in this round, it's just not like that at all. Trying to force it.
At the cost of the bar from that far, I don't know. The activation, no dashes here. You could go into critical art, but at the same time, why? Why would... Oh.
Okay.
That's a lot of damage.
Freezes it. Yeah, it sure was. And stun is now an issue as well.
Frames afterwards. The backdash is there for MX Gus. Hasdero still in the cold.
Oh, man.
If you uppercut critical art, it would have been over.
Yeah. Yeah, that was very scary. Ooh, big threat now. Yeah, that could have just been into the upper into super for Chip. And Hasdero didn't even spend the super, so now in final round, he's got a big advantage.
I think there's one thing to note that I do want to pause on. If there's ever a moment where that situation happens, let them spend the bar. Let them get rid of it. Oh, checking again. Crouching medium kick, such an effective tool.
And again, at almost exactly the same spot, 3 times. Hasdero with dash forward grab.
Uh-oh, tries to do it again, but the activation still gives MX Gus plenty of time to react and punish accordingly. The throw escape. Hasdero, I would say, like, pretty much under pressure with a lot of these throws and just spin the dash over and over again.
Yeah, it's been huge. Love seeing this from Gus. Oh boy.
My God.
It is next hit for the win as he ends in super here, but he needs one more. He's got to find the hit. He did find a hit and, of course, confirm all the way through into the trigger follow-up. Hasdero will qualify for top 8 in loser's side.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal play from Hasdero, exhibiting both characters with proficient knowledge, checking MX Gus through and through 2-0, breaking that 9th place curse, and unfortunately, MX Gus still living in that zone.
You know, as it went on, I did like more of what we saw from MX Gus. That round where he had a bunch of grabs I thought was really important, as he did take better control of neutral. But man, overall, Hasdero's reads on when Gus would stop pressing buttons, it wasn't even necessarily about Hasdero becoming the more active player in terms of his own buttons. They were very even in terms of that many of the times. It was just Hasdero called out when MX Gus was going to chill out and turn that into his offense.
Yeah. I will say there's been plenty of shining moments from MX Gus, especially towards like that later end of the set. With how he utilized the trigger, but after that, I feel like there was just a lack of confidence in terms of his movement after that trigger was gone. So again, yeah, exactly what you were highlighting from Hasdero, excuse me, being able to take it 2-0 is just finding those moments where MX Gus wasn't comfortable or confident in his own button presses. I will say, you know, one of the biggest tools that Colleen has, that crouching medium kick, although it doesn't lead to as much outside a trigger, man, it's such a great poking tool. Yeah. We saw that utilized a couple of bits ago in the set, but just wasn't going to be enough to deter Hasdero from moving forward, both in the set and in the pretty much the rounds that were played. 2-0 again. We've established our top 8, ladies and gentlemen, to fill out the bottom half. Choco and Hasdero. Of course, you see Sol VNG and Urio Velorio. Big congratulations to those that have made it this far, by the way. It's still no easy feat considering the amount of players that have participated in the Central America West region. Looking at it right now, again, huge diversity in terms of the roster. You're going to expect that as well in Street Fighter Duel coming out real soon. How soon? Well, we'll tell you eventually. The Capcom authorized mobile game Street Fighter Duel is now available for download in China with a global version coming soon. The epic legend is reborn on mobile. Download Street Fighter Duel now and let's fight for each other and join the journey with millions of players to become the best fighter. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot express how excited I am for this top 8 and this game as well. But again, there's so much Street Fighter to be had the rest of this weekend.
Next weekend, though, we're going to head over to South Africa. That's where we're going to have the CPT on August 27th, the weekend there. That's, again, very next weekend. After that will be Brazil. Then we're going to take a little break, and we'll be back with the weekend after that for Nordic and Baltic. The registration period is still open for South Africa, so if you are from there, please get in. Let's play. Let's have fun. It's free to enter. If you make the top 4, you guys can get $5,000, a share of that prize pot. Of course, if you're first place, you get into Capcom Cup. You guys know how it works. You know, you've seen this.
Yeah.
Let's just play. Let's play. Let's get in there. Everybody, I'd love to see a lot of players make it happen in South Africa as well as in Brazil and in the Nordic and Baltic countries. Head on over to CapcomProTour.com for more info on how you can compete and register for your event.
On top of that, I mean, there's other ways to get into the Capcom Cup this year, highlighting specifically the communities that have been involved since Street Fighter V, since Street Fighter in general has really come up. I want to make sure that you guys understand that the World Warrior Project is something that everybody needs to pay attention to and be a part of. Again, CapcomProTour.com is exactly where you need to go for all the details and to sign up, because again, a lot of these players that don't necessarily get to make it into the top 16 still get shown and highlighted in the World Warrior Project.
That's right. Yeah, in that, as we mentioned before, some of the players who were in this top 16 made top 4 at that World Warrior. Please check it out in your region as well. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to recap the top 16. You wouldn't go anywhere, would you? Would you turn the stream off? You wouldn't do that. And you know why? Because when we come back, Jeremy and I are both going to tell you things about ourselves that you didn't know. So make sure that you stick around.
Where did we put that on the running show?
Make sure that you stick around. Don't go anywhere. You wouldn't turn that stream off. We'll be back in just a little bit.
We've concluded with our top 16 to get ourselves ready for tomorrow's top 8 here for the Capcom Pro Tour Central America West. Vicious here with Ultra David, not to tell you a little secret about ourselves, but to kind of break down the top 16. I don't know what he was talking about prior to the break.
I just wanted people to keep watching, that's all.
Got him. It
got
worked.
him.
It got me going.
Here you are.
I literally asked him, I was like, I don't know what to tell you.
We hadn't talked about that beforehand.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks a lot for sticking around, everybody. Appreciate it. Let's talk about what we had seen in that last couple of sets.
Yes,
last couple of blocks earlier today.
There were no blocks, actually. It was just all 2-0s. It was just everybody just getting run down.
Fair enough. Yeah, there was a lot of that, unfortunately. But there were some great ones that we saw at the beginning. Let's maybe go through and check them out on that winner's side, top 16. Just to reiterate, okay, never mind. There was only one that wasn't 2-0. My memory was that there were more. There was one today that was not 2-0. That's pretty remarkable. It was Gama versus Chontegas, and honestly, a really good match. And if you didn't happen to see that, I do recommend going back and checking it out. Very close. It looked for a while like Chontegas was going to take it, and MJ Gama, the way he ended up sealing it with from range, dash in the grab, all of a sudden turning it on, was pretty exciting as well.
If that wasn't a spoiler alert for what was to come for Chontegas, then I don't know what was. Flipping it down. Or actually, before we even move on, right, you see the top 8 right there. Kusanagi versus Todokai, as well as MJ Gama versus Hagen. We're going to highlight which ones we're looking forward to a little bit later.
Yeah.
But based off of this, I think it's safe to say, David, your favorite matchup between this set would have been maybe like Gama versus Chontekas because of how close it was, right?
Sure, yeah, that was definitely my favorite in this. That said, I still really liked watching Kusanagi do his work. He's just such a master, and the reads that he made and the understanding of spacing's always impressive to me. So that was another one that, among these, I really enjoyed. Yeah,
I think the Hagen versus Rosek match which was one that I like to kind of highlight because of in terms of mastery. You were talking about Kusanagi and Sakura. I think the mastery of Hagen and Lucia was really impressive.
Very cool.
I think the fashion that he took it against Rosek, and Rosek's been around the block for a cool minute. I haven't really seen Lucia highlighted in such a way in a top 16 scenario as often, but I'm glad to see Hagen. Now he has to face off against another veteran with MJ Gama. I want to know how that match is going to play out, and I'm really excited for it. Flipping the script down to the loser's side, plenty of 2-0s. I'm not making that up. There was literally only one instance of a 2-1 set. The rest, a ton of donuts.
How about that? Yeah, that's not uncommon to have a bunch of 2-0s in a top 16. I'm not sure I've seen it happen in every single one except for literally one.
On the player 2 side, by the way. Of the
what happened to player 2? What's going on here? What's
don't know.
going on here?
I'm not
Jeez.
making it up.
Oh, no, you're not. All the player ones got dunked. Anything else in this set of matches stand out to you?
This one was a little tough. I think in terms of how close it was, or actually no, we're gonna eliminate that. We're gonna scrap that idea in general.
Yeah.
I think in terms of explosiveness, Uriel Vilorio versus Chontekas.
Yes.
That one was one of my highlighted matches that I enjoyed to watch because after he went through full gore, he's like, you know what? I have another big body to go through. I'm just gonna run it, and he did. He did. One of the biggest things I liked was seeing that confirm off of the low medium kick, blowing through the armor. That was sick. I actually almost karate chopped the desk in half
That's true.
when that had happened.
I was also really impressed by Choco and his Nikali. I really, really liked the mix-ups that we saw up close for him, but it wasn't just about that. It was also about his understanding of when to move forward. He zoned really well versus Janos Sagat when he needed to do that. So that's a character that we just don't see very often these days. He has been buffed the last couple of seasons, and I think is in a really good spot. So cool to see him. Cool to see Choco move forward as well. I really enjoyed watching that player.
A little bit of a heartbreaker as well down below, too, right after that with MX Gus and Hasdero. With the way that played out, it could have been pretty close, but it sucks that MX Gus has to hold the 9th place curse again.
Yet again.
You could see who made it into the top 8, right? Sol VNG going up against Uriel Vilorio. I want to see how that plays out. Sol has been playing a lot of the counter poke game with Seth, can be pretty offensive as well, but Uriel is the man when it comes to offense, in my opinion, for the Central America region, specifically the West. Down below, Choco versus Hasdero as we flip it into the top 8 bracket. Let's take a look. David, from the first 4 matches, or the first 2 matches, I should say, the first 4 players in the winners, who are you looking forward to the most?
Look, it's got to be Kusanagi and MJ Gama. I think even coming into this top 16, we discussed, those are the 2 favorites. I don't think it's any surprise that they ended up both in winners side top 8. I don't think it's any surprise that they're, very well could make winners finals. And I think that may be likely, in fact. So those 2 players are the ones that I'm looking forward to the most. They're the ones who, again, qualified last year from this region, winning the first and then the second CPT. Really, really, really strong players. That said, Todokai has been in there in the past as well, and he's made big moves in the past too, and he's the only rep from Panama. In fact, the only rep not from Mexico. So I'd love to see him move forward just for that reason as well.
I would love to see whether or not he's going to switch to that Cody. He did list on the questionnaire that he does have a side character with Cody. I want to know if that's going to play off against Kusanagi's Sakura. Even Kage, really, similar archetypes. But I want to know how that matchup goes, to be honest with you. I don't know about Urian, but I think Cody might be the play for those characters specifically. One of the characters that I'm looking forward to, one of the players I'm looking forward to is Agen, specifically because of that Lucia. I just like seeing that character, and I'm a big fan of MJ Gama, personal friend, but at the same time, it's like, man, you better watch out. This Lucia came to play. Definitely came to play.
Look, it's been very rare that we've seen Lucia in top 16s and in top 8s. I think she has been there a couple of times, but in winner's side, top 8, just a rarity. So super cool to see. We'll see that tomorrow yet again. In that loser's side, Hasdero versus Choco. Anything stand out to you about this one?
I'm curious to see how Choco's going to play it. I love the way that he dissects the matches and makes his adaptations in terms of like the movement. He does know when to slow it down. He does know when to throw out certain normals. But more importantly, he knows when to throw out those command grabs. I think that's super important with someone like Nikali because there aren't a lot of instances where you can get frame trap because everybody's kind of used to what Nikali does bring to the table. Just the biggest factor, the biggest thing to look out for is when that command grab happens. And it's been highlighted for so many years, right? Nikali, one of the biggest things is like, don't get blown up by command grab. You're going to turn into a Twitter clip. So I will say between that matchup, I'm looking forward to seeing how Hasdero plays off against the Chakali specifically.
As far as that final one down there, Uriel versus Sol VNG, I feel like this could be the biggest barn burner of any of these. 2 players who love to move forward, 2 players who love to get in there and really make things happen. We certainly saw that out of Uriel. We saw that sometimes definitely out of Sol as well. Their offense from both of them has been fantastic. So much so that we did not as often see their own defense, right? So how's their defense going to come into play versus somebody who has offense of the caliber that they're going to be facing? It's not going to be easy.
No, I think you're pretty much on the money about that. I don't think there's anything else I could really say. It's going to be who's going to take that risk to bust out with meter. I feel like that hasn't been shown off by Uriel as much. I think he uses meter primarily to extend combos, get damage out. I want to know what happens when he's put under pressure, under the burner of a character like Seth, who could put you in frame traps, steal turns away like Sol has been doing with the spin kicks, and someone who's actually risky or actually willing to bet it all with an EX Mad Cradle from certain moments. So we'll see how that plays out. I love to see Damn, actually, each and every one of these matches is going to be pretty sick. Although, I will say, since it is 3 out of 5, I would hope for it to be a lot closer. I don't want to see any donuts on the board because all of these players, extremely talented, by the way.
There you go. That's a little run through of what we're going to be seeing tomorrow in this top 8. It's going to be a lot of great matches. Again, you got a favorite? Name it. What do you got?
Ooh, it's going to be MJ Gama.
Okay, I'm going to go with Kusanagi.
We could probably see how that plays out tomorrow, and then either cry or pray, cheer about it. I think Kusanagi again, extremely strong. Wouldn't be super surprised if he made it all the way to grand finals, taunting everybody on the way through. But MJ Gama again, been very consistent, has made it through to the finals. Really curious to see how it plays out. Top 8, you don't want to miss it. It's pretty much at the same time, right? If you haven't done so already, follow Capcom Fighters on all social media platforms, all streaming platforms currently available. And again, if you have information on some of the players that you've seen in the top 16 and you want to highlight them even more, be sure to hit us up on social media as well.
That would be awesome. Yeah, we'd love to have everything that we can possibly say about these players. We like to bring forth their stories and, make sure that we are portraying the region as well as possible. So any extra info would be fantastic. All right, that's going to do it for us today. Tune in again tomorrow at the same time for the top 8.
Take it easy. Is so explosive. Okay, that could have been the stun.
Hey!
Excellent time to bust out that Fierce. Gets the trigger full conversion, but more importantly, out of the corner.
He holds it. Is he hit though? Yes!
The mix-up, I think it's more important to think about like a high-low mix-up, the left-right mix-up. We tried to get it!
Let's go. He's blowing it up now.
Was it the medium one? A significant amount. There's a big hitbox coming your way, especially if your command grab in hot pursuit to marry it. Big stop sign! Why would
Okay.
a lot of damage.